What's up, and welcome back to the channel. This is Ninja Knight, and we are here with Real Talk number 20. Crazy to think that we've gone to 20 Real Talks at this stage of the game. And I know that we've all been talking in the last couple of weeks, and I just wanted to get a bit of feedback as well in the comments, even below, or in the comments in the chat. What did you think of the interviews? When I say interviews, I think that's a bit of a formal thing to say, but the casual conversations, there was very good feedback for each and every one that I did in the comments down below. So we always really appreciate that when people have come on and have given their time to us over here. You know, it's no stretch to think that people that have been on our side for a very long time have been on different shows, and it's great to see. And it's, I think when I say a stretch, by the way, I mean a stretch for this channel to be talking to the people that we're talking to. You know, like when I started off this channel, I've been very aware of people in our space and on our side of the fence. And it's always been something that I've wanted to do. I wanted to bring people on and have, like, basically what I did, informal conversations, getting to know someone, getting to know what they're about, what the policies are about, and how we turn the country around. Because there's a lot more people that have been involved in this, I would say, struggle for a very long time, much more than I have been when I've come onto this platform. So we really appreciate everybody being here in the chat, and again, offer all the viewership as well. The last one that I did there was with John Waters, and it did amazing. And it's over 4,000 views at this moment. I think it's 4,200, which is really good views there is. And I really want to thank everybody that's out there. The previous ones that I did as well all did fantastically well. Fergus, and we had Gavin Pepper, we had Brown Croft, we had Satirical Soldier in there as well too, and we had Dermot O'Connor. So it was great to get a good mix of people as well. And, you know, I just hope that if I did anything really in those informal conversations, that it was to give people a little bit more knowledge about who these guys were, what parties they were from, and what the party is indeed about, because I think that that's a very important thing going forward. A lot of people asked me at the time last week, they were like, Ninja, you're going to do an election stream or election videos? And I said, no, not at the time, because to be honest with you, it is difficult, and it was difficult even until the last couple of days, to kind of figure out who's gone where, who's won what. But what we do know is we've got 4 brilliant councillors so far. We've got Patrick Quinlan from the National Party. We have Malachy Steenson, who was an independent. We've got Gavin Pepper, who was an independent. And then we've got another lad then called Glenn Moore from the Irish Freedom Party. So there's a good mixture of people there from across the board. And to be honest with you, I want to give a big shout out to the people that are on our side of the fence that ran in the campaign that were unsuccessful. What you guys did, and I mean this, I sincerely mean this, what you guys did to do that is incredible, because you knew full well that you were up against the apparatus. You knew full well that there was people that were going to come after you on social media, because these people, these cultists, these fanatics of the left-hand side, were always going to come after you. So I tip my hat to you. That's what I want to do. I want to tip my hat to the people that did that, because that is some amount of courage. Derek Bloig has done amazingly well. That's another man that I had on, as well as Philip Dwyer. So Philip Dwyer did quite well out in Tala, and there was hope that he was going to get in, and also Jan as well from the National Party. So these are all very positive things. Now, we know that the other side want to go, but you only got 4 people in, and there might be a chance of someone else getting in somewhere else. Yeah, look, that's a good showing. For a lot of people, it was their first election. Nobody was thinking that the whole place was going to completely change in one election. It's going to take a couple, I think. And I mean, when you look at the last election in particular, when you saw the videos, and everyone saw the videos, and there's many going out there. If anyone hasn't seen them, drop a comment below, or even indeed throw it into the chat if you haven't seen them, of them bussing around people that are not from Ireland into these voting polling stations, and these people are eligible to vote. I myself had a personal experience where I seen multiple foreigners walking into the polling station that I was walking into and walking out. It's and to be honest with you, when you think about it like that, it's something that we need to talk about very seriously. And I know Gavin Pepper has started the conversation. He started the ball rolling with that, about talking about people being able to vote in our elections. Now, it's something that Ben Scallon of Grip Media did bring to people's attention after the fact, and said, this is in since 1999. But then I was on a space, and Satirical Soldier, we'll be talking about Satirical Soldier a little bit here tonight. There's a video upcoming about him as well, so stay tuned for that one. It should be dropping tomorrow with a bit of luck. And Satirical Soldier was talking about, like, in 1999, sure, like, people didn't have their eyes on the ball the way they do now. Like, everyone is starting to very seriously notice what's going on now. Like, you know, back in 99, most of us were kids anyway that are here now talking now. But back in 99, no one was seeing or even minding the odd person that was coming into the country from outside of the place and coming for a bit of tourism, or might be coming for a bit of work, or they might be living here indeed. And people were curious. You know, people were curious to find out what they were about, who they were, where they came from, what it was like there. thinking to themselves as well, sure, like we'll go on our holidays there maybe sometime, see what it's like, see what the culture is, whatever it might be. But then over the last sort of 10 years, things started to drastically change where you're starting to be outnumbered in your local communities by people of foreign origin. Not only that, then, but people of foreign origin are now claiming to be as Irish as you are. It's absurd stuff. And so we've entered a point in time now where you see what's happened to Ireland is we've imported an awful lot of American ways and American, I suppose, ideologies and values and all like that. And what has happened is Ireland has been told it's some sort of melting pot. Like I had a conversation with one goofball last week that was claiming that Irish people, the first Irish people, were black. Now, I don't know about you, but I was like, where have you got this information from? And they were going, oh, RTE said that. And I said, so RTE said that? And he said, yeah. And I said, so you're telling me, I said, that people were able to make boats and come from Africa to Ireland, and then they lost the means of how to get the boat back then. Is that the case? They lost the means of how to build boats. You know, the places that have tin sheds and they have mud huts now, they need road signs, in particular places like Liberia, for example. Satirical Soldier tell you all about that one. So have a look if you don't know what I'm talking about, the road signs in Liberia, and it's got to do with a certain fruit. You know the fruit grape? It's got to do with that. So when you have a look at that and you see those type of people then that are coming into the country, and when I say those type of people, what I mean by that is people that have been let loose by their governments happily. There's people been let loose by their country and their government happily. Those countries ain't fighting to keep them. And if they're that intelligent and they're that good, why are their countries not hanging on to them? I'll also push out what we've been talking about for the last while, which is a number of people come to this country. This country is about 5 million people, give or take now at this stage of the game, of Irish people. Right. So what you have now is you have 5 odd million Irish people. I'd say it's probably more. The projections are to be more anyway. But what you have now, you have people coming from countries where there are billions and indeed millions from continents and stuff like that. And you've got them moving into this little country now. Like the minority is us. I saw a post there only yesterday, the day before, and it was talking about, you know, what percentage of the world's population is white. And it's about 12%. So, like, if anybody ever wants to talk to you about minorities and who's a minority and all that, just fire that one at them and see what they do. You know what I mean? Especially these people on the left. But here's the thing, the people on the left, it's over for them. It's over for them. Nobody cares what they're saying, what they're doing, what they're thinking anymore. There's a big social media campaign that I feel that's coming now where people are just going to block them en masse. They're not going to want to talk to them. Why should you? It's something that I've encouraged here on this channel. I'm like, I've no interest in talking to these people on my platform. Zero. Because they have nothing of substance. They have a cheerleader-like quality for your replacement and indeed for worse for you and your loved ones. So no, I'm not going to be speaking to these people at all in any sort of respectful manner. So that's how it is. So we've had a good showing, I think, in the election. The general election that's upcoming now is going to be a big one. And it's been interesting to me to see how these major political parties and the media, of course, because we all know that they're all working hand in glove, how they've tried to swing this one. They've tried to say, well, Sinn Féin did really badly. Yeah, they did. And now they want to blame people that are on the ground that are waving tricolours. That's not why Sinn Féin did badly. And I'll tell you why Sinn Féin did badly. Sinn Féin did badly because they're majority being supported in working class areas. And a lot of those working class areas, when I say working class areas, I mean good people, salt of the earth people, normal people that feel that their betrayal from Sinn Féin has been something that has taken note for these people. And what do I mean by betrayal? Well, Sinn Féin always pushed itself as a Republican, patriot, nationalist party, and it isn't that. So when they feel betrayed, they have only got one way to go, and that's to look alternatively somewhere else, and indeed call people out, because that's the thing with these working class areas. And again, I hate saying that even because it's, you know, to me it's classist, it really is, but to be honest with you, it's the way most people get it, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to explain it like that. So what you have is, you've got people that already know that Fine Gael are not for them. They know that Fianna Fáil are not for them. They all know that these people and these parties are snakes. They know that the Green Party is now good for them. I mean, again, I'll say it again, there's 129 people in here so far in 10 minutes. Thanks very much for being here. But what you got here is, you've got people that I ask all the time, and I've started to rub it off on a couple of other people when they're saying, I'm starting to ask people like that now in my sentence, have you ever met someone that has voted for the Green Party? And the answer is generally no. And when I say generally no, it's always no. Anyone I contact or talk to or speak to, they always say, no, I don't vote for them. So how is it that these people keep getting elected? Now, what is interesting is they have suffered some big losses they have from the likes of Europe. Now, Europe is seeing the big reshuffle with the people that's going in and coming out. Maria Walsh was somehow elected. Regina Doherty was somehow elected. That's a person that thought there was 9 genders. There's a serial failure in that person there with the amount of things that she's done. For example, running for TD and didn't get it. And is someone there that had a business that didn't do too well. And there's a lot of question marks around it. And now she's hanging around over in Brussels. And apparently she got 60,000 votes. Things that I don't believe. Okay, so you got her, you've got Lynn Boylan, that's the partner there of Owen O'Brien. So Owen O'Brien doesn't know what a woman is, but well, I mean, when Lynn Boylan's concerned, like, does anyone see the pictures of her recently? She looks pretty haggard, pretty interesting. You've got also then one or two others like Aidan O'Riordan. That's a horrible yoke, that thing. I'm just going to leave it there, because if I added any further comment to that one, I might just go into it too much. And then you've got your last one then is, who is it that they brought in then? That's even how unremarkable these things were. Was it Dahi Doolan? Was that the other one, was it? So that's how unremarkable the people are that are actually going to Europe and representing Ireland. Now, in the meantime, they have Claire Daly is gone and Mick Wallace is gone. So what do I think about that? Well, the thing is, I don't really care about them two, because I think if push comes to shove, I don't think that those two are actually going to support us in our movement too much. There are things we do agree on for sure, and I think that that's a positive thing. But I do think ultimately as well, when you're running around waving flags of other countries, I'm not too much of a keen supporter of that, is what I'll say. So you've got some interesting shake-up now. What you have now, and we are seeing it now right now, which is you've got the European Union is starting to fret, it's starting to worry, because it sees what's going on in Germany. And whilst what's happening here in Ireland is important, and I do think turning the ship the right way and indeed changing captain very soon, I think what is very important for us is that you're seeing other countries. And I know, look, I'm no fan of the EU. I want out of the EU as soon as possible. But when you see other countries taking a turn and starting to move the other way, like Germany, for example, like Spain, like France, that is super important. And what it's also helped to do is, and I've been talking to you previously, and I will always talk to you about geopolitics, what has happened immediately in France to the idea of a right-wing government in France becoming a very real thing is the entirety, and I mean the entirety of the left in France has decided and is talking very seriously about forming a united front against them. So just think about that. That was also being floated here. I think Aidan O'Riordan was actually one of the ones that was floating the idea. Now, what they're afraid of is they're afraid of what happened in the election here only on the 7th of June, which was, you seen, and it depends what way you look at it. I'm gonna talk you through it, and I'm gonna tell you what I think. I understand people that say that the vote was splintered. I get that. I 100% get that. But what I think is also important is that, for example, you had more people on the ballots, which means that you could have done, say, like, for example, I think it was on my councillor one, I think I got as far as 1 to 7 I did, and I was very happy with all of the choices. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas if you had, say, for example, a ballot and it was blank after 2, I don't know whether there's messing going on there. Do you know what I mean? I'd always recommend people bring a black pen to the polling stations when it comes to these things. But some of the stuff that we saw and heard about that went on the day was absolutely abnormal. As I said, you've got people that are not from Ireland voting in the election. You have people being bussed around to different polling stations to be voting in that. You got one woman, for example, Eva, I believe her name was talking about walking in, I think it was at Saggart, if I remember correctly, and she was saying that there was NGOs hanging around outside of the place that were actually directing people who to vote for by showing them the picture for them to look at and saying, like, this is the person you put number 1 beside. Like that's pure election interference. And if you don't think that this gang are up to this sort of stuff, let me tell you, it's 100% going on, in my opinion. When you see it happening in America, for example, and you see a guy that didn't get out of his basement over a number of months and he gets 81 million, like, you have to look at that and go, that doesn't sound legit. When you have people that are around stadiums chanting specific chants about said JB, we should say, then you know what's going on there. You know that people have had enough. Social media was a pretty interesting thing in and around 2016, and I said it at the time. I was just like, I think the Trump is going to win, because everybody I saw on social media was all saying, and particularly Americans were all saying, yeah, we're going for him. And then it ended up being true. So you're seeing a lot of panic from these people on the left-hand side. You're seeing a lot of panic from these political parties. But here's a prophecy that I'm going to tell you. This is the 14th of June, 2024. Here's a prophecy, and usually I'm full of them when it comes to these things. Now, sometimes I'm also full of shit. Uh, people be laughing out. They'll be like, yeah, you're right on that one there. But sometimes I'm full of that too. When I'm only joking now, I'm having a good laugh about that. But sometimes when you look at these things, you have to just apply it to what's happening here in this country and see what's going on across the world. Now, what is happening across the world, as I said earlier on, is you've got the French that are openly talking now about got to unite, guys, got to stick together. And I believe, and I do believe this, I believe that that talking point needs to be the same for this side. So whilst I'm talking, out to myself or to you guys, because you can see it's 160 odd now here today. And I want to thank you as well too for being here. I'm sure people are probably watching the Euros and like, have you on the background there, Ninja? Well, this match is going on. It's better than listening to your woman. What's your woman's name? Rachel, something that does beyond the BBC. She's Karen Carney. She's awful. But anyway, but anyway, that aside, what you're saying is you see that these people are very happy to unite to form to try and keep people out that are on our side. You've seen them talk about the transfer of votes. There was a hashtag that was going on Twitter. There was on election day, vote left, transfer left. This is what these people do. Now, I don't know everything about vote transfers, and I'm still trying to learn about them. And if anybody does know about them, I'm always willing to learn about what the story is with them. But you wouldn't believe the amount of people I spoke to that said, yeah, I gave a 1 and 2 and that was it. And I'm like, that is fascinating to me. That is absolutely interesting, because it seems to me that people are breaking through with, I'm not voting all the way down the page. I'm not going 1 to 20 here on this one. So very important to note that, you've got, for example, Hazel Chew. And I think that this has been the work that we've done. When I say we, I think people on this side of the fence who still got elected, which is incredible to think of, who had actually halved the amount of votes she got the last time. So I think she got it in around 4,000 votes the last time, but this time she got it in around, I think, 1,900. So I think it worked out I think it was just over half that she had halved her votes by since the last time. So that's an insane amount of people that have dropped off from her that had previously supported her, which is what I want to say. And then the support for other people has gathered legs. I mean, look at it this way, and I think this is the way we got to look at it a little bit too. Like, it might be a blessing in disguise for some people that they might not have gotten into Europe or might not have gotten in as councillors, because now they can possibly run for a TD position. Do you know what I mean? Now, that I think is a very interesting thing. Before we move on as well, and again to send congratulations to the lads, I just want to remind people about this, and it's something I was talking about with the owl lad the other day. Derek McManus be in the chat, be like, that's another one. That's when he started off already. So if you're here a long time, you know what I mean by that. So what you've got right now is you've got people that are councillors, okay? So I'm just going to explain this one, just break it down for a lot of people that don't know this. A councillor stands to earn €30,000 a year on top of what they get, right? They also stand to get free phone access, so they can have a mobile phone, and that's paid for. And also then for, I think one of the things that they said was like sustainability. I think that was one of the things that was also one note, which basically, in my opinion, means food. Now, I'm open to correction when it comes to that one. So that's a nice little earner, isn't it? When you are a major party, for example, I don't begrudge people that are actually doing something for their communities and are doing something for Ireland and the Irish people. Gavin Pepper, Patrick Quinlan, you've got Glenn Moore, and then you've also then got Malachy Steenson. I don't begrudge those guys at all. That is going to be the rhetoric, though, from the other side and from the media. They're going to tell you that you should be begrudging that. Meanwhile, don't be minding all of these other people that we have here. And I'll show you some of them as well that we have here tonight. So they're going to say, don't mind that. Don't mind that they're pocketing all this as well too, and people that are not from this nation. Okay, don't mind that at all. But mind the guys that are on our side. And this is the thing. You've got our guys now that are starting to hit the ground running, which I think is super important. You've Gavin Pepper that's out there straight away, and he's looking into things and why things are happening. He's talking about people being able to vote in an election, and they can possibly be illegal immigrants. They could possibly be asylum seekers. You've got Helen McEntee, who was in a video there only last week, who was talking about emailing citizenships out to people. Now, what is that about? That's about making sure that they have the nest feathered for the general election. They are going to try and stuff this country with more and more people. Like, here's the thing. They put out an article, and I've been watching it at least once a week. That's like Marion Street cleared of tents, Leyson Street cleared of tents, the canal cleared of tents. And then the next week they pop up again. So what I think has happened, now again, I'm open to correction. I'm only speculating here when it comes to these things. But it seems to me like the tents are being moved on, someone's been moved into the tents, then they're getting somewhere to stay, and then the process starts again. So we've imported a lot of groups of people here, particularly fellas and particularly very unpleasant guys, because a couple of the lads, one big shout out to Keith, by the way, who does the spaces. He was down and he was at the canal and he was confronting these people and all of the other people that are out there, the people who I don't know, who are out there confronting these people, asking them what's going on. We're going on to Clonmel in a few minutes as well. Don't worry, I'll be talking about that. But you've got these people that are coming in here, staying in tents, it's being cleared, they're disappearing to God knows where, and then there's more than that pop up. So to me, I think it's a stopgap, and I think that that's exactly what it is. And I think it's a deep shame on this country that this has been permitted. I mean, where else would you get it? And I mean, when I say where else would you get it, it's happening around the place, of course it is. And unless you control the ponds are being controlled by someone else, they're being controlled by the other team. But when you have Gardaí, for example, and I mean, shameful, this week I think has been a really bad week for the Gardaí yet again. And a lot of support is dropping off for them like quick sharp. And I'm talking to people from all over the country. And you've got some people that would have been big supporters of the Gardaí and would have still been supporters of them after the whole sniffles nonsense. But this time it's different. And I said it about 2 years ago. I said, listen, guys, this can be a different story when this appears on your door, because Dublin's overrun at the moment. There's problems everywhere there is. And when it comes to your door, when it comes to your county, then it's going to be a point in time where you're going to go, uh-oh. And this is a big, big issue, and it's starting to happen. So in Clonmel, for anyone that's not out there that doesn't know what's going on, I'm sure most people that are listening in here, they're forcefully putting people into Clonmel. So they've moved travellers aside. So again, something that I thought, and I was speaking to a woman on a space there 2 weeks ago. I can't remember her name or anything like, but she was speaking about travellers and the way they've been treated. And I asked her, I said to her, look, directly, and I mean, look, different travellers will say different things to you, of course, I suppose. You know, she's not probably a spokeswoman for travellers or anything. But I asked her, I said, do you think this all began when they declared you guys your own race? And she said, yeah, she believed that happened. And I absolutely thought it was absurd at the time, and I still do, that travellers are labelled as their own race. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're white and Irish, you know what I mean? Like, they're just different. I mean, it's like me being from Dublin and someone being from Mayo or Galway or whatever like that. People from Mayo and Galway would be like, thanks, Ninja, nice one for that. But no, all jokes aside, like, I'm only messing there when I say that. But what I mean by that is that to me, we were a hodgepodge and all the same. And insofar as, you know, they had different cultures, traditions and stuff like that, and that was fine. But everyone was under a common understanding and a common banner. And then it was like, well, you guys are othered, you know, and then some were happy to take that and go, okay, that's grand, we can go and run with it. But I think a lot of them saw that and said, whoa, hang on here, what's going on? Why are they doing that? And now it's just playing out in front of us. Like, the game is playing out right now where they're like, okay, you are something else, and so is this gang, and so is that gang, and so is this gang. And you're like, so the only people that can't criticize someone is someone that's a native. That's how the media is working right now. We'll get into this article in a few minutes. I just want to jump into the chat and say hello. Frank Barnes in here says, how you Ninja and everyone, fair play to all who put themselves forward and those that voted, and obviously that those that couldn't vote but provided moral support. Hope everyone that could vote did vote. Michelle Keane is asking Michael McDowell to help stop the EU migration pact, and we can do our part by sending messages to all the TDs and senators to urge them to stop the pact. Those things work, by the way. I just want to point that out when you send messages to these people, because you've had the likes of the hate speech bill. That, according to Ben Scanlon, speaking to someone at the door now again, these canvassers will say anything to you, and it's all these politicians. He was like, oh no, this hate speech thing is it's gone in the water, it's finished. But like, they'll resume the stuff pretty quickly. I mean, they made loads of promises about the deportations before the election. They said they deported 50 people. 50,000 is what's more needed, not 50 people. Do you know what I mean? And this is what they think is going to win you over. And again, I'll keep saying it. Why would you believe career lawyers? They're not. A leopard doesn't change its spots, right? So there's no point in you saying, all right, I think I might vote for Simon Harris this time. Ludicrous stuff. Him and that party never going to change. So again, that's across the board. All of them are never going to change, no matter how all right you think these people are at the door. And that's another thing I've talked to people about as well. Oh, I met such and such there. Yeah, he was a nice man at the door. I met one other head the ball, and this will just give you an example. For example, if you can speak, I met one head the ball, and this person was saying that they voted for this leftist because the person knocked on the door. And I was like, that was all it took to win your vote? And they said, yeah. And I says, well, did anybody from the National Party knock on your door or the Irish Freedom Party or anything like that? And he said, I don't know. And I was just like, this is who you're dealing with. You're dealing with some people in society. And I said it before on the space when we were there before. You're dealing with people. We talked to someone there on the space there a week or two ago. Was it maybe little bit longer, maybe 3 weeks ago? Fella full of drink, of course, there that decided to come onto a space and try to insult people and think he was this. These people think they're geniuses, by the way. This is the scary thing. And that's what I said in the space. I was just like, how many Voldemorts did you take? 3. Why did you not take more? Stuttering around himself. And I said, well, why did you not take more than 3? Couldn't answer the question. Couldn't answer it at all. But this is a person that believes that they're morally superior to you and thought that there was no problem with the government taking your rights, civil liberties, or freedoms away. Not at all. And thinks that you're some sort of istophobes for saying, hang on here for a second, the country's overrun with people, housing prices are through the roof, they're going to continue to go that way, hospitals are overcrowded, there's a health crisis that we have here, people are on trolleys, and it's only getting exasperated even more. People can't make dental appointments. People can't get doctor's visits. People can't get school places. I mean, you've got people down there, I think, that were recently that were talking about they support Bohemians Football Club, and they were crying about the fact that they couldn't get a school place. Well, literally on their jerseys, they have refugees welcome. Like, they're so stupid. And this is the thing. This is what I want to do with these streams. I just want to point out to people how ridiculous the people we are that are dealing with. Phenomenal work, says Frank Barron. Yes, good idea. Would that be sitting TDs, county councillors, and just email them or text them? There's a momentum that can be carried for sure. By the way, if anybody has a comment or a question on that, just at Ninja Knight in the chat, that'd be much appreciated. Would, and I can get through things a lot faster. Bob is in here, says happy Friday, Ninja Knight, all the rebels of Ireland. Fergus Power's in here. You know, a big shout out to Fergus Power, by the way. Unfortunately, wasn't elected this time, but got a good showing, is what I'd say. And I'm sure that's a man that's going to be elected sooner rather than later. Another one as well, Philip Dwyer. A big shout out to him. Ran another campaign. Got very, very good numbers and will get elected, I'm sure, in the future. Now, that's again, and this is something we got to seriously talk about. We got to talk about election integrity, and we have an American that made that comment. And again, I'm only using the comments from the journal. I'm only using the comments that were made from them. You know what I mean? Like questioning around what's going on with our country. And we'll talk about that over the course of tonight. But a big shout out to Fair Power, because there's no doubt in my mind that they have tried to manipulate things, and to me, successfully have done so. And they've gotten themselves into positions that they don't deserve. We've gotten a couple of our guys in, which is super important, but we do need to make a big push for the general election. And I would say this. I think patriots, I think Irish people, I think nationalists, I think we need to unite. I think everyone needs to put aside egos. They need to put aside tribalism. They need to put aside who's the leader, who's not the leader, whose party is it, whose party isn't it. And look, I'm not making that as a particular comment towards anyone in particular. That's just what I'm saying. Like, I'm talking about if you're Irish Freedom Party, National Party, if you're the Irish people or Ireland Force, no matter who it is, right? I think that we need to unite big time, because what you're going to see is you're going to see the other side, when they realise things aren't going their way, they will unite. And what will end up happening here in this country is we'll have something that's very similar to America. And I suppose the American model really works out with those for those who are pulling the strings behind everything. And why I say that is this, because the American model is just one of two sides. It's very simple. And how do they do things? Well, one side is absolutely controlled and the other side pretends like it wasn't. And what you've got right now is you've got interviews with Tucker Carlson that are telling you who's controlling them and how they're controlling them. So that also, I get that, makes people wary. I hear that point for sure. But I do think right now we have enough people that are honest and they have an awful lot of integrity and love for Ireland and realise what's going on, that I think all sort of issues need to be put aside and they do need to unite to form one joint party, because I think that's going to be the one that will take on these legacy parties. I saw Tracy O'Mahony, and the big shout out to her with all the work that she's been doing. She noted, I think, the position of Sinn Féin. I think are they over 100 years old? Again, I'm misremembering perhaps the tweet that she made. But put it this way, the legacy parties are all over 50 plus years old. And this election they found difficult. Whereas you've got parties that are less than 10 years old that did quite well, which is a very good sign. And what I will say about that is, I know that for anyone else out there that's listening in these parties, and I know you are, and I appreciate that, I know that those numbers are good. But what I'm saying is, you've got the other side that are absolutely saying, we're going to unite and we're going to join. You know what I'm saying? So we need to be very careful and tread carefully when it comes to that. I'm delighted to see Herman Kelly talking about uniting. I think that that's a very positive thing, and I think it's only going to get better for us here on this side of the fence here. So big shout out to Ferg. So Ferg, I'm just at the jumping past the comment there, by accident. So Ferg will jump on there, and he says, Ninja Knight, good evening, you beautiful patriots. Great to have you back, bro. I'm spending some quality time with my wife. Her birthday last Saturday. A very happy birthday to your wife. Spent it in a count centre supporting me. God bless you all. What a woman. Absolute legend. Fair play to you, Ferg. You know, that's some support that you have there. Wasn't another great thing, by the way, to see our guys and to see the support that they were getting. You know, like it was quite heartwarming, for example, to see Gavin Pepper and his missus behind him, and she was real emotional. You know, I thought that was lovely. You know, whereas you see all of these other creeps that are around there from the legacy parties, and they're like expecting it. Do you know the sort of way? Like there's something real off and untoward about that in my view. You know what I mean? Like you've got people lurking around like Labour, Aidon or Reardon being like, I'll get in there. And I think that's also a very sad thing to see a guy like him get elected just because they've transferred left. And that's another big statement that has been made. Like that was what Niall Boylan got pushed out on. Niall Boylan got pushed out on really bad transfers. You know what I mean? So I think that people need to look at that going forward. Look, I think we will get a handle on this transfer system sooner rather than later, and I will put out a video eventually. Tom McDonald, yeah, that's another one. I wanted to show him out. I actually think I have him queued up for tonight anyway, Ferg, yeah. So Tom McDonald, Tom McDonald, I think he's in Kildare as far as I know. Newbridge, is it? Chris Bourne is in there saying that this guy's based. Like, he's running around telling people that Irish women need to be having more children. And I was like, yes, I'm all for that. Then you've got him, for example, talking about lifting the tricolour. And there's people that are questioning it. When I say people, the media, and I mean, use that term very lightly and very loosely. But you've got these individuals that are saying, was it far right for him to lift the tricolour? Now, just think about that for a second. There's people out there that actually think it's far right to lift the tricolour after winning an election. That is absurd. Now, I know that they enjoyed Luke Flanagan that was raising a flag of another country. And here's the thing with all these Egypts that hold up the flag of another country, particularly whether it's yellow and blue or whether it's black, green and white and red. Is that the colours of it? I actually care very minimal about what that country is up to. You know, I care more about what's going on in our country. But none of these people that fly the flag of that country have any interest in going there and standing on the front line. And that's what I always say to people. Look, I'd much rather if you go over to the front line and you hang around there and not a bother at all. Saints and Scottish says, surely that explains the 77,000 spoiled votes. Air Force says, don't forget me autograph special edition, Ferg, says Air Force. County Gaines is in here, says Ninja the YouTube, political goat. Love seeing people challenging the narrative. Thanks very much. Much appreciated there. Very much so appreciated. Noel McConnell, another guy that I had on here in the channel, he didn't get elected, but he was quite close as well. He was looking good for a long time. Listen, this election had the establishment rattled and very worried. I mean, you had media members that were going around. I mean, Gavin Pepper is actually on video on Gripped Media, and there's people walking past him whilst he's giving an interview, and they're hissing at him. Like, the tension out in that place, I know it was, because I know one person in particular was filling me in. I don't know if we should say, unless he pops up here and says, Ninja, fire away. But he was telling me, he was just like, these people are going around and they're not liking the people that have showed up here to the count centre. They're not enjoying the fact that there's people getting good votes at this moment in time. And you need to keep an eye on these things. There was people that were talking about there was a move from the count centre and the RDS over the night to Weston Airport. Then there was flight logs that were coming out that were alleged to say there was no departure. Where did that come from? No time of arrival. Why is the stuff been taken to Weston Airport? Because there was no events on in the RDS, I think, until like the 13th or 14th of June. These are all things that we've seen in America. And we've seen messing going on over there. And we're going to see messing going on here. Messing is happening. Unequivocally, in my opinion, messing is happening. Triumph of Brew says Fine Gael ought to remove the word Gael from their name. They are now the PG party based upon the demographic they seek to approve. I'm going to show you here tonight. You got some pictures up here tonight. I'm just going to go through them and see what people think of it. So people are talking about in the chat about Nationalist Uniting. Great to see that. Okay, let's jump in and have a look at some of the stories and some of the pictures that I wanted to show tonight. So I just want to keep this kind of really tight in terms of a show to keep everyone involved in what's going on. And I appreciate everyone come back as well, because I know this might be a different stream from previous ones where I think in all total, I think in the last streams, I might have talked about 30 minutes probably. Not that I've looked back or listened to them or anything like that. But a lot of people commented and they were like, great to hear that you had the guest talking ninja and let them away. And I was like very conscious of that. I'm super conscious of that when I bring someone on, because I want to hear what they have to say. And indeed, if it gains support for them, particularly in the political sense, I'm very happy. You know, I don't need to hear the sound of my own voice for those streams. I'm very happy to hear what other people have to say. Curiously as well, this platform wanted to limit, and did indeed limit, without any valid reason, the conversation that I had with John Waters. So that says an awful lot to me. Seems like they don't want that getting out. Brianna Perkins. I always get reminded of your man Tony Perkins. Wasn't that the name of the character that Ben Stiller played? Tony Perkins. Remember that one? Heavyweights. Does anyone ever see that movie? The people in the chat be like, what are you talking about? But yeah, great movie it is. But Tony Perkins, you know, that's the first thing I think of when I see that name. Anyway, Perkins. Close enough. Brianna Perkins. I'm leaving Ireland. I don't have the energy for life here. This country teased the lightness out of me, but so many people leaving Ireland for Australia is down to more than sunshine. So yeah, don't come back is what I would say. This is a person that's an instigator when it comes to things, and has been involved in labeling people and saying things about people. And of course now, on our jollies now, off you go there, to be replaced by the next dullard that comes in to that media outlet. That's all. You know what I mean? Like we've got far too many of these people, and far too many of these people in media that are casting opinions. Luckily enough, though, their influence is on the wane, and they're very aware of that. They're very afraid of that, and that's why they're going to try go hell for leather after the tech companies. Like for example, who voted for Cynthia Nimuriko? I did a video and I got nearly 17,000, I think, views. I think it was 17,000 the last time I looked at it. 17,000 views, and people went out and voted for her. Who? Who was doing that? And you can't tell me that people are that silly that they voted for the jockey. Like, you can't tell me that. Listen, I know people are silly. I know some people are silly. And I know a lot of people are silly in groups. But there's no way, in my view, that certain people got into those positions the way they did. And this is just another one that just really confirms that to me. Look at this. Fine Gael were posting pictures. This comes from their Twitter feeds, by the way. And they were posting pictures. Now, you might see the odd one in the middle here. And I made a comment about her earlier on, so I don't really need to kind of back up that one up, because I spoke about that, how this person got elected. It's not impossible in my view. But look at this. What's the crack with this? What's going on? Like, is that representative of the Irish people? And of course, then you've got a number of lunatics that are out there that think, yeah, if you move to the country, of course you're as Irish as they are. No, that's not how that works. It's not how it works. But hang on, they got people that were born there. They were. So the two parents that have moved from another country, so let's just say they're from India. Two parents from India that have moved to Ireland and they have a child. You class them as Irish as people that have ancestors here under the ground for a very long time. Yeah, of course I do. Space cadets is what we're dealing with, people. Space cadets. So you might be thinking to yourself, that's unusual. It must be a common name there. It must be like O'Brien in India. No. This fella here, right, Papadam, right, has the same name as this guy because they're father and son. Now, there was a comment that was made on social media. I don't know who it was made by, but they made a very astute comment. And that was when they had a look at the tree here. And of course, then you've got Leo Varadkar. They were like, has Fine Gael become an Indian party, or what's the story? Like, this isn't representative of the people of Ireland. And people say, but they were elected, Ninja. Listen, if these people were actually genuinely elected, we've got two very serious problems here. We've got far too many foreigners in the country, or we've got far too many people that are incredibly stupid. And I think it's the former rather than the latter, because I don't see most people going to the polling booth and going, yeah, I think I'll vote for this guy. Like, I saw another one as well too, this Fijian Jose or something, whatever his name is, Fijian Jose, whatever it is, but gets elected, he does, in, what was it, Dublin 7, I think it was. Gets elected in Dublin 7. Like, this guy has 90% of Twitter blocked people on our side. How is he getting elected? How is he getting elected over people that are from this country? Now, I know what people will be saying in the chat, but Ninja, that area is like, it's little, little India or wherever it might be. And again, when you state those comments and you say those type of things, for example, like talent as well, a lot of people reach out to me from talent and they're like, Ninja, you don't know how bad it is out here. I'm like, oh no, listen, I know. Do you know what I mean? And then you see this here. Like, this is absurd stuff to me. Now, that's obviously in Tallaght Central, Tallaght South, Kimmage Rathmines. I mean, what's going on over in Kimmage Rathmines? You know what I mean? And these other places, like, then you've got Yemi Adenuga. This is another trouble starter from somewhere else. I think this is a person that did I do a video on this one not too long ago, and she was talking about people having white privilege. I'm pretty sure that that's that person. So Navin is in serious bother right now, and I said that previously. Like, they're gonna have to get active in Navin and start running elections. And indeed, when I think people are starting to become disheartened with elections, and they've seen some black pilling, for example, after the weekend. And I fully understand that. I fully get that. I understand people will be feeling downtrodden with this sort of stuff, and especially when they see these images, they're like, holy moly, ninja. But to me, I think there's a positive to be taken out of this situation, which is it should incentivize people to run for elections and start calling out things for what they are. Like, these are people, by the way, that will run around and will say, I felt intimidated whilst I was going and putting up my posters because I'm not Irish and I was told I wasn't wanted here. Like, why are these people not running things in their own countries? And I would absolutely support that. If you want to head on back to India and run the show over there, lads, by all means, that'd be great. And again, the same if you're African. By all means, head on back to wherever you're from there and help them out as much as possible. I am all for that. You do that. Hazel Chew, the same. You head on back to China there and you help them out as much as possible, because that's what you should be doing. Instead, you're going to see people taking up the airwaves now saying people were racist to me, they weren't out in these areas. But what do you expect when the electorate aren't being listened to? What do you expect when you're calling people racist? What do you expect as well when you're not looking after people and people don't see what is going on in their community from these people's points of view? They're like, I don't know what they're moaning about. What do you mean you don't know what they're moaning about? 800 plus years we fought the British, we did, only to hand the place over in less than 100 years to other people. And not only other people, but other people that have nothing in common with us. No linkage in customs, no linkage in values. A lot of the time, not all of the time. But who are happy then, and this is where my point remains, if these people are sound and they look after the Irish people and they do good things, I think most people would say, well, sure, like, fair enough. But you know the inevitable is coming. And the inevitable is that one, if not all of these people at some point in time are going to cry about, I was talked to this man, I didn't like it, and it's because of what I look like. You are going to be, and you are, the majority when it comes to numbers. You cannot run around then and tell me that you're a minority. It's just not applicable here in this country. And people need to get out of that frame of mind. That's the next piece of psychosis that they're going to go with. This is the next psyop. And this is normalising. And I said it beforehand. This idea of putting posters and people like this up for election is normalising the idea of foreigners voting in our elections. Now, that is foreign interference in Irish elections as far as I'm concerned. So these are very serious points that people need to address. And again, these candidates are also people that need to be addressed for sure. So I'm bringing up election systems and indeed what's going on with them, because this came out from the Journal again. Oh, I meant the Journal. And it says Cathy Buckfar was this woman's name. Now, I'm just going to pull something up here, and I'm not on the computer or anything like that, but I have her here beside me. And I wanted to talk you through this person. So just give me a moment. I'll have a look now. I had it saved earlier on. I just had to go into it. So Cathy Buckfar is an American that's talking about security when it comes to an election, right? So let's go through this here. So just give me 1 second, because I have the other article and I'm ready to go with it now. Okay. So Cathy Buckfar says here in this, election security expert tells of threats to family as government regulators not doing enough. Cathy Buckfar spoke to the Journal about the global risk, because this woman is involved with the Global Economic Committee or something like that. It is something like a Global Economic Summit. Doesn't sound like the other one that has 3 letters and also 3 words, does it? The forum doesn't sound like that at all, does it? Global risk of election disinformation and how social media companies and governments regulators are not doing enough. Now, what has something that has been a common trend throughout this election? Well, it's been Cynthia Murricu kind of spilling the beans on, yeah, we want to punish people and find out their identities for posting things that we don't like online, for mean tweets, for the truth being told. We want to punish those people and the regulators. All about money. It's all about money with these people and how they can limit your freedom and your ability to speak openly, honestly, and transparently and to tell the truth. Now, I find this hilarious, and this is a big faux pas here from the Journal, because guess what these people don't think? They don't think people like me exist. And when I say that, I mean this. Who is this woman? Well, this woman is actually married to a judge in America, and that judge in America, you would think, would be able to give this woman good advice. No, no, no. These people are very much so big supporters of the Democrats, and whether that be up to you or not, you do what you do as far as I'm concerned. Now, she has actually got a resignation on her record. She resigned after her agency made a mistake that will delay a statewide vote on whether survivors of decades old certain abuse, we shall say, should be able to sue the perpetrators and institutions that covered up the crimes. This is who this person is. This person is an idiot. And she's talking about election security. This is who the journal is hanging around with. And guess what, guys? The journal failed to mention that in the article. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking about, and I said it in a video that I have upcoming, these people like to talk about information and misinformation. Misinformation when it comes to these people is information that they want you to miss. And it took me 2 minutes to just search through the internet and find these things on this person. So that completely blows apart their argument. Did the journal mention that in the article? No, they didn't. They didn't mention that she has a resignation under her belt for that. Again, I think it's something that's pretty seriously interesting when you're hanging around with these people and those specific crimes, considering what we're looking at here in this country and the people that are being let off and the people that are walking around the place. I mean, you've got nearly weekly, there's a certain judge that's out there, I don't need to name the person. There's a certain judge that goes viral quite often on Twitter about the sentences that's been handed out. And then you've got the journal that are over here. Like, why is this yank hanging around their country talking to us about what we need to be doing? And I'm making an observation here. The name Bookfire, if you look that up on Google, by the way, see where the origin comes from. You won't be surprised. You won't be surprised. You know what I mean? So you have people now, and this to me, this is in the run up to the election, and I was like, okay, this is they're feathering the nest here. There's no what other reason would they have to bring this person to Ireland and for her to go around talking to people? And just before that, they had Anthony Fauci, and Anthony Fauci's in an awful lot of bother right now as well. He's still not in jail, mind you, but should be. And they still got a fella running the show over in America that's still hanging around till November at the very least, and then we'll see how things go in America. America is going to be super interesting to see what they do next, because whether they try to do what they did in 2020 again, or whether they try and hand the reins off to the other fella and give him a live one, we wait and see. But these are the people that the media on our side has chosen to unite with and to liaise with and to speak to. And again, funny that how they left out a pretty key piece of information when it comes to this one. Here's another story that I wanted to highlight, and this is something that just kind of pings on by. And when I say that it's just undermining democracy, the democratic vote, and elections as a whole. So you want to talk about airside defense, questioning elections? Well, I tell you what, I'll absolutely do that when you're doing things like this here. Was this not what we said no to when it came to the referendum? And here they are now again, and they're looking to slip this in. This is looking to be moved in pretty quickly. I need my family here. It's very painful. Go home, is what I would say. Go home. Like, these people, and this is the thing, and I spoke about this with someone the other day, and I was talking to them about doctors, right? And they were talking about the medical profession and saying, oh, we'd be in trouble, we would. No, we wouldn't. Listen, for every 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 40 doctors and nurses that we have here, you have thousands, and I mean thousands of other people coming from their same country or other countries that are filtering into the place and are going to be taking up space, are going to be taking up waiting time, and are going to take up whatever you might have then in another sense or form. So you've got these people that have this argument of one doctor good, one doctor from India good, without one doctor from India, no good. Okay, let's just time out there for a second. Now, when I'm doing that, I'm talking about a lefty, you know what I mean? Because these people don't have an awful lot going through the IQ isn't very high, okay? Not an awful lot of brain cells. So you think that a person that is coming from way out from this country, coming into the place that has barely any English, that they should be here. Why are they here, and why are our doctors leaving? Why is that? Why are we switching people here? Why not keep our doctors? Why not look after them? and make sure that they don't have the option to leave, insofar as you make this country super attractive for them to stay. And this is across all walks of life. It's not just unique to the medical profession. When I say that, I know, like, I got me questions when it comes to that. But why are we shipping out our people and then bringing in others then? And this is the argument that the media and others like to use then. But we're shipping our people out and bringing these people in. So, of course, you should be made bringing in tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of foreigners into this country. Why? Hang on here for a second. This is what I said at the beginning of this here. Sure, if someone's a neurosurgeon and we don't possess that skill or ability, sure, I would say, okay. But that's probably how many people? I mean, probably 40 all in all. You don't need to offset that with, oh yeah, we need 10,000 more of these people. To do what? To do what, like? So, I need my family here. It's very painful. Well, if that's the case, go home. I mean, this is like me rocking over to Japan, hanging around Japan, and then going, I miss me family, they should be here. They would be laughed out of the place. And rightly so. Rightly so. It's like me it's like me heading over to Liberia and saying, miss me family, want them here. I don't think the Liberians would be taking me too seriously, do you? Got to take a leaf out of that book, you know? Migrant workers call on Helen McEntee to reconsider family reunification policies. A healthcare worker who has spent over a year alone in Ireland without her family has described her situation as very painful due to rules around reunification imposed by the Department of Justice. No is the answer there. It's the simple answer. But did we not go to a referendum and say no to this anyway? So this is where we're at right now. And what I want to make a point about this is, I've told you before and I've said it to you before, and I think it's probably appropriate, and I think it's actually very appropriate now, that countries are referred to as she. Because why do I say that and why do I think that? I think that because what you're seeing is now us as a country, and this country, she's saying no regularly, she is, to the government, and the government are just doing it anyway. Do you get me? Like, without going into too much there, they're just doing it anyway. They're doing something that's not consented to. They're doing something that they are not invited to do. And this is exactly what we're seeing time after time after time after time. You don't want people coming into the country, let's load another million in. You don't want your health service to be on the ground, let's keep overloading it, let's keep making it even worse. You want to wait a year for that? Why not 2? Do you get me? And why do we put up with this? Why are we sticking to this nonsense? Like, this is absurd. These people should be laughed out of the place. No, you can go home. If you're not happy here, go home. Make it a stop and not a stay. Off you go. Like, I find no sympathy. I have no sympathy with these people. Zero. I couldn't care less. But Ninja, that might be one nurse. That might be a person answering phone calls in a bleeding telecommunications place. That might not be a nurse at all. Like, be for real here. Next thing that we have up here, DublinLive.ie, says TV license fee to be scrapped and replaced with cheaper media charge. I'll probably do a subsequent video on this one. The government has yet to decide the new rate, but it is likely to be less than the current annual fee of €160. I wouldn't put it past these shysters to make it like £100 or something like that. Now, breaking into this here, because guess what? A lot of people would see this and go, oh, that's great, yeah, happy days, we defeated it. No, that's not what happened. What the government are deciding to do is, they're deciding to weaponize, and I'm using that term very, very... I'm using it very particularly because they're using revenue to collect this money. So instead of it being optional, because this is anti-democracy as far as I'm concerned, they're forcing this upon you. Again, you've told them no, they don't want consent, they are not taking consent, they are telling you you're going to take it and you're going to like it. Or else, you'll have a threat of incarceration. Now that to me is anti-democratic, it's anti-freedom, and it is pure and utter fascism as far as I'm concerned. So why is this not being called out? Which it should be. They are going to forcefully steal money from you to fund the media. Do you get me? Like, here we are again. Here we are again with another situation here where you have media companies that are literally on their knees, on the way out. Old Yeller, time to go. And now you've got them coming along, the government, and going, we should probably save this. Why? Look at the numbers that are in here tonight. We've got 233 people in here tonight. This is the new media. We're the new media. We don't want nothing to do with you. Are the media going? Are these people going to come along to me and go, do you know what, Ninja, you're doing such a stellar job there. You're getting more likes. You're getting more views. You're getting more people subscribed to you than some of the other places that were out there running around. Why don't you? No, they're never going to come to me or you, ever, because you're telling the truth and you've got no strings. So this is what we have here now. You've got a government that are rogue. It's a regime. It's out of control. The quicker that people realise that this is a regime and that this apparatus is completely and totally against you, the better. And this is just another showing of that. You don't want to pay the TV license. You don't want to engage in funding RTE. We're going to take the money from you. We're going to steal it from you. And guess what we're going to do? We're not going to give all the money to RTE. No. We're going to give them some, and then we're going to filter it out across other media stations. Like who? Like who? And why are they availing of it? You know what I mean? So I would say keep a very close eye on that one, because that's going to be one that I keep a close eye on as well too, because I think this is absolutely disgusting. I think this is one of the worst things that these people. And when I say one of the worst things, this government and these politicians have a history of doing bad things here in this country, but they're really taking the biscuit they are with these things. Just nicking money off you for nothing. Nicking money off you so you can keep RTE and media places there alive. Why? It's ridiculous stuff it is. I tell you, if I got into it, listen, I'll get into it, right? There's nobody that I know that watches RTE or any of these other channels like Virgin Media. Sure, some of the lads that are in here will use them for clips and stuff like that because they're, of course, then they're not. And here's the thing, and this is another thing with these media companies. They wouldn't bring on Ireland First. They wouldn't bring on the National Party. They wouldn't bring on the Irish Freedom Party. They wouldn't bring on the Irish people. They wouldn't bring on any independents. Now, how can you tell me, can they bring on Dr. Sheikh Umar Al-Qadri, who came last in the election? How can they give him media time, but they can't give any of our people media time? How come they can't bring him onto that? Like the likes of Derek Bloig or Fergus Power or Gavin Pepper or whoever it might be. Now, I know the reason and the answer to that is because those guys would make the media and establishment look silly and would draw a lot more attention and a lot more supports and votes for them, particularly from the older generations, because the younger generations don't watch this stuff, especially when it comes from the media. Most people are getting their information from Twitter, WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, and maybe one or two other places like Instagram. Instagram's probably a big one. It's probably a popular one at the minute. And the other one then is TikTok. So, because I know people are furiously typing TikTok as well. Yeah, I know. TikTok is another good one, right? And when I say good one, it's getting info out there to a degree. But why is it that we should comply? Why should we comply with this when we're not being represented? Do you get me? Like, I could turn around to them, and I think a lot of people should, and they go, well, hang on here for a second. You didn't represent me in the last election. Why should we do anything to do with that? You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's disgusting. It absolutely sickens me, it does, when they do things like that. It's such conniving and manipulative and snaky shit that they do. Government to approve plan for joining EU military initiative. The government is expected to approve a proposal to allow Ireland join an EU military initiative to defend critical seabed infrastructure against sabotage, ism, and espionage. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you out straight. And I said it in a space not too long ago. I understand people that want to serve their country and do and have served their country. And a big thanks to people out there that are base patriots, not the people that are following orders and wanted to lock you up when it came to the sniffles, not the people that are helping out with the invasion of Ireland that's happening right now, the plantation of Ireland that's happening. Not them people. And this is the thing, those people, you can do whatever you're doing. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to send the people that support the blue and yellow flag waving country and other kips over to those places and those front lines, by all means do it. But I will tell you this, and I'll tell you this as straight as I can. I will not be going to a front line on another country's soil. It will never happen. And I don't care what means you choose to go down or what road you choose to go down. You won't be getting what you think you're going to get out of me, is what I'll say. I will happily, and I mean happily, do anything, and I will do anything opposite to what you want to do when it comes to going to a place on foreign soil. And none of my clan will be doing that either. None of my relatives will be doing that either. None of my close relatives will be doing that. There is not a hope that I am going, nor anybody belonging to me in family terms. I mean, friends, again, I would very much so steer them away from that. But there is no hope that anyone is going to be stepping foot on foreign soil to be going over and to be possibly no longer when it comes to these people. Zero chance of that happening. Absolutely zero. And this is another thing that needs to be refused outright. And it needs to be vocally and loudly refused. There is not a hope that I will go. You can threaten me with anything, and I will not go. I promise you that. I will go nowhere. And I will plant my 2 feet in this ground, and I will be going nowhere. So that's a bad idea to go down this road, because this road, if you try to force people up and you try to force people over and try to go down the road that Germany was floating around the last 2 or 3 months there, talking about conscripting people, you're going down a road that isn't a good idea. Now, I'm a big fan of Marvel's The Punisher. I'm a big fan of the John Wick movies. So I just wanted to put that out there. I just like those movies, you know? I'm a big fan. Huge fan of them. And when I'm talking about huge, I'm talking about this here. I'm looking forward to John Wick 5. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about The Punisher and the new Daredevil TV show. Very excited about that. If this doesn't sum up the state that Ireland's in, I don't know what else does. Now, this picture is coming from Michael Allen, as you can see here, so shout out to him. And as far as I know, this is coming from Clonmel. Look at this. Look at this. This rotund individual is a Garda. Now, I want to point you back to a week or two ago when Philip Dwyer was outside the place. I think it was outside in Tallaght, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, do let me know in the chat. And he was outside and he was talking to a guard, full face of makeup as well. Typical pig ignorant attitude. And there was a male guard that didn't want to speak to Philip at all. All right, keeping his mouth shut he was, because he wouldn't answer the questions that Philip had to ask him. And then Philip said on the video, he's like, I'm only after asking this band Garda. Well, the little whelp spoke up then fairly quickly. She's actually a Garda, not a band Garda. And Philip's like, oh, you can talk now, can you? Which was a very good one. It was very funny. But this is what you've got. You've also got, by the way, something that I have to say, I laughed hysterically about this, and I've no shame in telling you that at all. No shame when it comes to most things anyway, but no shame in telling you this. That video that came out of Tallaght when that big fat Vanguard was there, and she was being insulted, and the left cried on Twitter, they were like, look at how the far right, they're talking about this woman, they're insulting her on her appearance. She was grossly overweight, she was over her BMI, that's true, that's a fact. Again, I know you people are not interested in facts or the truth or anything like that, but that is a fact. She is facilitating another plantation here in Ireland. She's not liked upon what we're doing here, and I'm sure again a message there from the Satirical Soldier. He's like, this rotund individual is a Garda legend. Thanks, man. Live shout outs here. But anyway, you've got this person in Tallaght that has been verbally abused, and of course now to the left, that's violence. Saying hurty words is violence. Ludicrous stuff it is. You don't mind when things happen to you, when assaults happen to you, or when your family are in trouble, or when there's imminent danger and that. Not a bother at all. No worries at all. But you say some verbals to a guard that they don't like, of course they know exactly what a woman is at that point in time. The entire apparatus that tells you they don't know what a woman is, and anyone can be a woman. Sure, look. They're telling you, I seen an article this week and I was talking about we're going to replace what was the article that said? I think it was something like, we're going to replace the word cervix with birthing hole or something like that. And I was like, listen, we're done. Like, we're done here with normalcy. And then the same people will come out and say, yeah, that's rude for saying these things. Like, that's one point in this picture is what I'm going to say. Here's the other point. You've got a person here. Look at the hair on this guy. He looks like an iced gem. What's going on here? You've got this fella here now that's not of this country, that's in now, that's been drafted as security in this area, and you've got him with a high-vis jacket on. Now, apparently in Clonmel, there was a person that was on this team, and again, I say allegedly on this one, but like there's a lot of reports going out there, and I'm only reporting the reports here when I say this. And they were talking about someone flashing a knife at a young girl. Now, that's a very serious allegation, and according to one of the videos that came out, said person who seems to be overrunning, I think, over these people, came out and said that that person had been dismissed. Why was that said person not arrested? Why did that not happen? Is that not a breach of Section 8? The guards love that one. They can't wait to give that one out. Did he be like, Section 8, Section 8, every single time? You don't like what you say? Section 8. You don't like the way you look? Section 8. Every single time. Like, every single time that these idiots in uniform get to use the word Section 8, like, they absolutely lose the run of themselves. Then they are pulling people onto the ground, and there was one there where they arrested a lad for asking questions. They put a fella in a headlock and all, 3 of them attacking him. Like, did they not see themselves, or did the families not see them? And like, if I had a family member that was a guard at the moment, I'd be disgusted. I would be disgusted with them, because how do you look at incidents like those, stand over those incidents, and then perpetrate those incidents further? Meanwhile, the border's wide open, and they're doing this to our people. Like, where's this energy for our borders? This is absurd. And what I think is absolutely hilarious, to top it all off, is this. For the last 5 months, you've had the entirety of the left, you have to have the entirety of the media, NGOs, and Sinn Féin indeed getting involved in this. The far right are actually British controlled operatives. Well, it's Mary Lou MacDonald, all for tons of her, allegedly, spectfully. Okay, just joking there, just joking. That's only a joke. I'm only messing. I'm only joking. She's not that heavy. She is quite heavy though. But you've got her, and the mole's probably weighing about 14 kilo anyway. You know what I mean? The big one there on the cheek. So again, allegedly, spectfully. That's a joke. That's also a joke. But you've got a picture of her and Michelle O'Neill. Michelle O'Neill, that's another. Again, I'm not even going to get into it on that. And you've got pictures of them with Charles across there in England. That's not interference, of course, here in Ireland. That's not interference at all. You've also then got them with pictures with Drew Harris, former PSNI. So that's, of course, not British collusion or British intelligence or nothing like that. I said British. Bitch. So anyway, you've got these people that are linked directly with the Crown. And yet, Sinn Féin had the gall over the last 5 months to be like, the far right are working in league with the British. If anything we've learned from the left over the last number of years is they are always guilty of what they tell you you're guilty of. So I just would put that out there when it comes to no shame Féin. They have absolutely no shame at all. So we'll go through a couple of the memes here that we have and a couple of the images. So Facebook community guidelines prevent me from being honest here. I'm currently out until the 20th of June on Facebook for telling people where I thought them. I forgot that it wasn't Twitter. You know what I mean? It's very easy to do when you go over to Facebook and you start to layer on people. You start to lay the smack it down on people on Facebook, and then you forget, oh, this isn't Twitter where I can kind of say what I like to say. You've got this over here. Me watching the entire world fall apart because we couldn't tell mentally ill communists to shut up. That's the Christian Bell, base Christian Bell. Here's an Aristotle comment, and I'll just read this out here. For Aristotle, democracy is only possible only within homogeneous ethnic groups, while despots have always reigned over highly fragmented societies. So even Aristotle knew about this. A multi-ethnic society is thus necessarily anti-democratic and chaotic, for it lacks philia. This profound flesh and blood fraternity of citizens, tyrants and despots divide and rule. They want the city divided by ethnic rivalries. Sound familiar? The indispensable condition for ensuring a people's sovereignty, sovereignty is a taboo word according to Micheál Martin. Ooh, doesn't like that one. Accordingly resides in its unity. And that is ethnic chaos prevents all philia from developing. So you've got a very serious point there being made by Aristotle, and they knew, and now we know when it comes to these things. This is another thing. I'm just going to briefly touch on the incident that happened in Germany. Shout out to base James Conway over here. Look at him over there, the smiley face on him, you know. But this references what happened in Germany. I'm sure if you didn't see it, or if you haven't seen the video, I'd sincerely say have a look at what happened in the video. So this guy breaks it down over here. He says, white citizen trying to stop an invader who is, you know, what shall we say, played in hide and seek with an old Wesley Snipes blade with locals. We'll go with that one, yeah. Police dutifully tackle and subdue the white citizen, also very much so made into Swiss cheese. Police then help the invader up. The invader then attacks the police, busy subduing the white citizen. Police regretfully have to take the stunner, and the invader is on the drop. None of the officers even help the Swiss cheese white guy. Femoid officer then remembers he exists and then cuffs him. This is the most current year Europe thing I've seen in a long time. LMFAO. That's a very good summary as to what happened in Germany. And it's something that a lot of people didn't want to talk about, and I bring it up every time I try to, as much as possible. Like, do you see what happened in Germany? And they're like, because they know how it looks, and they know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, there was more interest on the people, the locals there, than there was on the guy. And as a result, then the police officer who took the native down ended up getting her in the neck, literally, and is no longer on this plane of existence. They then, as far as I know, someone was reporting this, I can't remember who, but there was an allegation that an imam came to the funeral or something like that. And I was like, wow, wow, wow. So now you have Germany and Germans that have said, okay, enough is enough. They're starting to shift more to the right hand side. They're starting to talk about, there was an article that came out last week, the week before, it said 1 in 5 Germans think that the national team isn't how it reflects Germany. And I was like, interesting. That one, that's about to pop off. And the same can be said for France. France is seeming very similar. But going back to Germany here, it was the most perfect representation of current year thing. And there's people out there that are saying, well, we didn't know what situation was there to be ascertained from what we saw. What do you mean? There was a guy literally running around like someone from Game of Thrones. And yet what you choose to do, and this is where we're looking at things when it comes to these things, and going back to what Aristotle said there, you have a section of society and multiple sections of society and other countries that will always stand beside each other. You will never see a scrap between people. And when I say people, between people of different, you know what I'm talking about here, different heritage. Jose Mourinho, heritage. So you'll see different heritage. And what you, heritage, I think that's very funny how he says that. What you have then is people that will stick together no matter what. And what we're starting to develop and understand in this side of the world is that you need to do the same. And that was a very timely lesson, is what I would say, as to what happened in Germany. Your own people are all right, and they're probably going to look at you as all right. Not the left eyes now. I mean, they're out there, you know. But 9 times out of 10, it's happy days. I tell you, I probably have a video down here below or a post or something like that. But anyone that's familiar with what goes on YouTube, there's a Jamaican. I put out a video before about it. But there's a Jamaican that runs around telling everybody the racist they are here in this country. That's a terrible Jamaican accent. But anyway, here, I couldn't give a fiddler. But this guy, I have to say, he's called Cannon, right? Now, he loved the little show out here. But I love what that guy does, right? And why do I love what that guy does? What he does is, and he does it way better than I do, right? And I've no qualms in saying that at all, right? He actually is more of a driving force for a right-wing government than I think any of us could be at this moment in time. He posts the most stupid things and regularly does so, and regularly tells people to, hey, strap up, man. If you're a migrant, that's actually much better Jamaican accent. I'll give myself a little applause on that one there. He's telling people this in live streams, and all that's happening is people are clipping them and they're like putting them up on the internet, and everyone's looking going, okay. That's red pilling people faster than I am. And I keep, there was a tweet I put out to him, I think, there a couple of weeks ago, and he made some sort of comment. He was like, all of you are racist here in Ireland. I'm very impressed with myself. I'm very impressed with there. That wasn't bad. That's like Naomi Harris there from that Pirates of the Caribbean movie. So anyway, he's out there going, all of you can get it. And I was like, this is doing way more to red pill people. Keep doing this. And see, what's happening is, and what we used to do was, right, what we used to do with these people was we used to face off against these people. And what you're doing is you're creating a person on the other side that doesn't understand how useful an idiot they are, right? So what I think we need to do with guys like that, we need to embrace him. We need to coddle him, to make sure that he keeps posting these stupid tweets and these stupid videos and just use them. And all you do is you just go, look what this guy's doing. And you'll red pill people so much faster. You really will. It's great. So keep doing it. Keep doing it. And anytime the left do things, I'm happy to go, look, here we have here, photographers' dual perspective photos demonstrate how easily the media can manipulate reality. So we've seen this before, where you have what looks to be hundreds of people outside of a place, and then you realize that, there actually isn't. So this is how they do it. There's the image there, the real image, and then here's the other image then that they've doctored or altered or edited, whatever it might be. You've got this over here, Base Crusaders. At some point, you will have to stop running and take a stand. Either you, your children, or your grandchildren, better you than them. The stuff that's gone around the internet at the moment, the base stuff, it's absolutely phenomenal. This is the guy here. Shut up and go to house to house. That wasn't that bad. Actually, that was worse. That was more Arnold Schwarzenegger there. So this is the deal with anyway. But listen, I love when guys like this post things up like this. Now, I'm not going to play the video or anything like that because, again, it'd probably show off my Jamaican accent to be very bad, which I'll fully take. I'll fully take that. No problem at all. Okay? No bother at all. But this guy will go around and call everybody a racist, man. You're a racist. That's, again, not bad. I'm giving myself a pat on the back here. But won't talk about, for example, if you were white and you go to Jamaica, you have to basically live inside of a compound because, these people can't control themselves, So, very similarly as well as to what you're going to see in South Africa and what you have been seeing in South Africa. He doesn't want to mention that. Doesn't want to mention that at all. So, he's children in danger. There's allegedly a rumor out there that's saying that the mother of his kids has a barn order against him. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not. Again, that's alleged. That's a rumor. Don't know whether it's true, but if it is, I think good for you, buddy. So Off Grid Ireland, big shout out to Off Grid Ireland. They're putting out these videos. Says nobody will conquer these people. Government, media, or NGOs, none of them can stop what's coming. The buckaroos on the horses, absolutely brilliant. And that's a good video now as well. It's played with some music and a lot of different videos kind of compiled together. A big shout out there to Off Grid Ireland when it comes to that. You've got this here. This is a classic play share. So this comes from the election cycle. So you saw many a video that was like this one. We give it a sec to load up and see what was said.
Sinn Féin, you must be joking.
I'm aware of that.
Fucking traitors. I haven't got my burqa on and my prayer mat.
No. Okay, I don't think we're going to agree on this.
No, we're not. And listen, I always voted for Sinn Féin all my life, but after seeing that with her burqa and her prayer mats in Crow Park, should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Good luck.
Your hand is on the ballot box.
So apparently these people and other people in different parties were voted for, even when the old boys, and look, I give an awful lot of stick to the boomers, I really do. And if you're a boomer in here listening, fair play to you, thanks very much. You're taking a lot of heat. You're constantly taking an awful lot of heat in here. But what you've got here is a simple video, and there was so many of these videos that came out of people refusing canvassers and election candidates from their doors. And there's different people that have different trains of thought. Some people say, just tell them no, you're not voting for them. Or some people say, go ahead and do this. I'd probably err on the side of what this guy is doing. I just, when you have the bit of it between your teeth, I'm like, I have to say something. This is your chance. This is your shot, And especially when these people are coming door to door. Now, what I noticed with this election particularly is a lot of these people seem to come during the day and drop the leaflet off. They used to do leaflet drops they did, and they were hoping that you weren't at home. So, these people were all coming between the hours of, say, 11 to 2 o'clock, where most people are in work. So they weren't being caught by the average person. And I think these videos would have been far higher had the average person been at home when these people knocked. You've seen a lot of people that were nationalists and patriots. They were going around at the time people were home to convince them. And that's a very, very good idea and a great idea in the future to continue to do that. So it's amazing the response that these people are getting. And just when you think, by the way, when you see their old lad like that, when you think that videos like this, or when live streams like this, or images that are being shared, and I'm not just saying mine, I'm saying everybody across the space, everybody that is doing their best for Ireland, when you are sharing pictures, videos, whatever it might be to other people, you are red pilling people, you are waking them up. And don't feel like you can't send these things to other people and show things to other people. Sure, you're going to upset a couple of people along the way, but who cares? It's about the country and the future of the country, and that's what I think is important. You've got Michael Healy-Ray welcomes the plantation and replacement of the Irish people, says Off Grid Ireland. Ireland is no place for traitors anymore. So here we have Michael. So let's have a listen in. This is really...
They will be the business people. They will be the employers.
This is what's going on. This guy's sitting in the mosque saying this, right? And then he's coming out and he's going, we care about you. No, I don't think you do, buddy.
They will be the business people. They will be the employers. They will be the employees. They will be the fabric of this town and of this county. And I appreciate that very much. And if you hadn't made the decision to come here and rear your families here, we would have been denied the right of having those children in this county. So I really think that is so important, because the more people that we can have, the better. And they're very nice and very respectful. And I believe they will play an integral part of our community in the years and years ahead when none of us adults will be there anymore. And we are delighted that the mosque here is going so well. It is a credit to each and every one of you and your families who worked so hard and who saved up money, because it couldn't be here only for work and for money. And you did that yourselves. You didn't have to get any grant. You didn't have to get any help. What you needed was the goodwill. We were glad to support you and do our work in helping you with it, but it was down to yourselves and nobody else. And it was your hours of work and putting your money together that helped. And it is a beautiful building, and it is a building for the future, that you won't have to be chopping it and changing it and making it bigger or smaller. All you need to do is every number of years to paint it. That's all. So it's a mosque for the future. It was sad and at the same time a privilege to be invited a number of months ago to a funeral here. And I thought it was so nice the way the remains were brought in outside to the nice yard outside. And it was it's a good thing that you can observe your own traditions and your own religion in life and in death. And I thought that was a very nice evening outside. It was new.
Now, there's just something, and it's just something that I'm a keen follower of, and interests me. It does to no degree, is body language. So during this here, and I mean, the Healy Rays have been very badly exposed for the last number of months. They have, especially when it came to the blue and yellow flag waving country, and now this one comes out. So this isn't looking good for them at all. Now, when I say it's not looking good for them at all, like, people need to be running in Kerry now against these guys, because anyone that seems to have the name Healy Ray attached to the name, they seem to get in, and it seems to be relentless, and it's because they wear the old paddy caps, or maybe it's more than that. But body language is important to me, and I just want to point it out there. There's probably about, all in all, it's saying that there maybe 20, 25 people, I'm estimating here, fellas that are sitting there. Note the way that he's sitting. It's as feminine as they can come. Look at it. The crow's legs, the whole lot. But look at the other book, and it's that's another thing, by the way. I caught him nicely there with that previous image. That's it. The amount of times he looks is at the ceiling whilst making comments, I think, is pretty interesting. Now, can we go to the other one? Now, that's how he's sitting. So, you've got Michael Healy-Rae and Danny Healy-Rae there. And you've got Danny Healy-Rae is actually generally sitting like with the head down, the legs open, the hand between the leg. He's looking as if he's like, what are we doing here at all? And that makes perfect sense to me then when you paint the body language of the two fellas separately. You've got one fella with his legs crossed sitting like a woman. You've got this guy over here. When I say legs crossed, by the way, he's got the legs together. I mean, obviously not a bollock between himself there. And then you've got this guy sitting, and he's going, no, what am I thinking of there now? I'm thinking I might have, will I have a kebab for dinner? Or will I have, no, maybe the spuds. And he's thinking to him, he's thinking this to himself, these guys, they probably, no, they can't eat the ham. No, it's very bad. These guys don't like the ham. People be slating me now. That Kerry accent is terrible. I couldn't care less. But I think that's interesting when you look at that video again. The body language of this fella here and the body language of the other guy. He looks like he wants to be anywhere else bar where he is, and that he doesn't believe in what the other fella's saying, which I think is pretty interesting. It was just a small little note that I thought there. So that's that guy I was talking to Jerry about earlier on, Klaus Arminius. Says, I once asked my colleague what is the percentage of white people in the world, and she responded around 30-40%. She was shocked and in disbelief when I told her it was less than 12%. Ask our friends and families this question and see how they respond. We're a world minority, and unless immediate action is taken, we've become minorities in our countries too. We've got this here from Grift. We've got white people are walking around with a backpack of invisible privileges in our society. The CEO of Ireland's government-funded Children's Right Alliance has said, yeah, I mean, you just look at that image there and it sums it all up. I mean, is this Robin Williams come back now and he's playing Mrs. Doubtfire again? Is it a different version of it? Like, what is going on here? The chin is here. Like, I mean, she's like, that's like a prosthetic that Jim Carrey's wearing or something, isn't it? Like, You've got the double chin here, of course, but you've got this weird looking line here. Someone will be like, Ninja, that's her hair. It's just out of place. I just thought I'd point it out, and I think I'm making a laugh out of the picture just as a whole. But yikes on this one. I always tell you, I say it all the time, it's always ugly women that are involved in this sort of stuff here. It's never an attractive one. COVID, the beer bug, the sniffles may be to blame for increase in this. Experts call for more research into the effects and possible links to mortality. This is something that we said 4 years ago, and we said that this was going to lead up to this, where they were going to create a problem, they were going to have a reaction, and then they were going to create a solution. They've created the solution, and it's not working out. Well, maybe it is. Who knows? I haven't heard of any prominent people having issues, but I'm starting to hear a lot of people with different issues now. Bell's palsy, the cancer rates are going up. And this is a country, by the way, that's got a very high cancer rate when it comes to the world in comparison. It's the highest in the world we are for cancer. Very strange that, isn't it? And loads of people here don't smoke anymore. I think that's odd. Think about that. The smoking ban was introduced. Far much more people don't smoke anymore as a result. And even further than when it came to jacking up the prices of cigarettes, I don't know anybody that smokes now. It's very small amount of people that I know that actually smoke, and they've actually moved towards the vaping, which is probably even worse for you. And it has been found to be worse for you because there's PFAs in it, which are forever chemicals that are in those things, and they're not being scrutinized at all. Of course, tobacco bad, vape good, you know. And then in 10 years' time, they go, oh yeah, there's a lot of chronic illnesses with regards to those vapes. Well, here we are in 2024, and I know that now, but I'm no medical practitioner. So we knew this a couple of years ago. We knew this when they were pushing it out, and we've just been vindicated yet again. So it's, what are we up now? The conspiracy theory gang. We're no longer the conspiracy theorists. That's the thing. The left are the conspiracy theorists now. So we're right about this again. And I think that's something that you need to go and show people as much as possible, because it all comes back to that. Off-grid Ireland, back here again. Unvetted invader camp across the road from Alexandra College, Dundrum today. So the south side affluent areas are starting to get a bit of diversity and inclusion. So looking forward to see how those people react to those things. This election meddling, absolutely disgusting and should be illegal. So this story is independent. So this comes out, this article was from, when was this article from? Yeah, I'll probably mess around now. Let's see if we can get it. Does it say on the date? It might be missing the date there fairly simply. So can we see it all? No. There's no date on this here that I can see. No. But anyway, 7,000 more voters registered in Kerry since referendum. That's not strange. Where were those people before? You know what I'm saying? Sounds very odd to me, doesn't it? Come and take it. We get back to there. So where did those 7,000 come from? That sounds weird. The referendum didn't go away, so let's do this and increase the amount of voters in the area that totally won't have an effect on elections going forward. Very serious problems there. Very serious. Woke Watch Ireland. This is another very good account, by the way, Woke Watch Ireland. Abolish direct provision. These people were posting on Twitter. They were trying to antagonize people over the last couple of weeks, and they were talking about, we have had 9,000 people signed up there that are asylum seekers. Again, allegedly speculating on, but these are the things that these people are posting out, the types of things that these people are posting out, I should say. We took thousands of refugees in direct provision camps to a polling station this morning to ensure they voted correctly. The government should give all of them the right to remain in Ireland. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the apparatus and useful idiots. Very useful idiots for the apparatus, because when you have our people that are shouting from the rooftops about what's going on, these people are going, but you're an Istafab. This is how affections are affections. This is how these people change what's going on in our elections. Make no bones about that. Clonmel breaking. Garda arresting peaceful protesters in Clonmel. So I'll have a look at this here.
Allow the video. Allow the video. You're all doing it. Come on, did not.
I thought Helen McEntee said everyone was wearing body cams. They seemed very concerned. They seemed very concerned with people recording this. You see, here's the thing, and I'm going to explain it really simply here. You have Gardaí that are in Dublin, and a lot of them are from outside of Dublin, or they're from different parts of Dublin. So therefore, it's going to be really, really difficult for anyone to come back to speak to these people and let them know what they think. In these counties, however, most of these people are from other places where people will know who they are due to being from a town, a village, wherever it might be, much smaller places, and you will be known far quicker. And like that, as I said before, if you're in those towns, cities, and you recognize these Gardaí, you should be speaking to their families and telling them what a disgrace it is as to what they're doing. Hopefully the family feels the same way. If they don't, well, just give them a piece of your mind and probably move on. But the fact that they're trying to stop the recording and prevent it from being recorded is very, very suspect. If you're up to no wrong in uniform, you shouldn't be worried about people recording what you're doing. But these people are.
Allow the video. Allow the video. You're all doing it. Like. How many not me?
No, just go with it.
I'm just standing. Look how many guards is over him, boys. What is? What is boy? Look at this. That's. Look where the world is gone to. Look at this.
That's an illegal arrest. That's an illegal arrest. Illegal arrest. Even though he's speaking. He only spoke. That's all. Let him out. Let him out. He's allowed to speak. He is allowed to speak. He has a right to speak. He has a right to speak. He was pissed for speaking. He was speaking. He spoke. We have freedom of speech in this country. Freedom of speech. He never moved. Illegal.
Direction to leave the area. If you do not comply, you'll get disqualified. Now go.
Let him out. That's illegal. Man is possible out to speak in this country.
I never.
To hear them using the Section 8 again, pox bottles. This is what you have. And I mean, like, there's a lot of people that are calling them the new black and tans online. Like, a lot of people are making that comparison and they're just disgusted with them. Honest to God, like, I don't know how people, and I mean, this one here, and this is a perfect representation as to why women in particular shouldn't be Gardaí on the front line, because she got emotional. And that's why she went back at that other woman there. And they were going back and forth, if you noticed early in the video, and there was fingers being pointed. She got aggressive and started screaming. Now, nobody's going to take her seriously at all. I mean, could you imagine her when Kelechi's walking along and she's telling Kelechi, you're about boy to be arrested? Kelechi ain't going to think twice. You know what I mean? And this is the part that these people do not understand. People like myself and others that are out there don't want to see anti-negative happening to these people in uniform. Indeed, we have this social agreement, this unwritten social contract, I suppose, where you're supposed to say, look, we know what your gig is, we'll respect it, and you look after us, and that's the way it's supposed to go. But they have long since decided to just abandon the oath. The oath means nothing to them. Most of them probably can't even recite it. You know what I mean? And what you have now is you've got a lot of people that have been given a severe amount of power. A lot of them are just bullies, and use that power then to do things like this. And when I say things like this, I'm talking about screaming into the face of a person that is a concerned citizen, a concerned local Irish person about what's happening in her community. And you've got a person there that is extremely emotional, shouting and roaring, and then is speaking to others there, and then we'll get the Section 8 going here. It's disgusting, it is. It's absolutely disgusting. I have to be honest with you, the Gardaí to me are like a football manager that's lost the dressing room. I have no respect for them. None. And you've brought that upon yourselves. You brought it upon yourselves when you decided to oblige the government, and when you decided to agree and do things and become the pawns of the government when it came to, protests in the past, when it came to water meter protests, when it came to bin protests, when it came more so to the whole sniffle situation. When you decided to barge into churches and decided to set up checkpoints, that were 5 kilometers away from people's homes and chase people and harass and harangue people. That was when it ended, I think, for a lot of people. And when I saw the video in particular, the one where I did a video before, was on Bus Éireann, and a man was told he couldn't get onto the bus because he wasn't wearing a mask. He was exempt, of course. And the guard in the video said, let's just put the bills and statutes aside. I mean, come on. The bills and statutes are what dictate how you're supposed to do things and how we're supposed to go around. And if that's the case, then why should anybody take heed of any sort of laws when you were behaving like that, or you were agreeing with that sort of stuff? Now, I know that they'll turn around and say, well, that was different. That was because there was a whole scam. I mean, you know, a whole situation going at that time. But how is this any different? The country's been literally invaded. There's people sleeping in tents that are not from this country. There's people that are getting up to no good. They're leaving the areas dirty. You've got, for example, an article that has been written and it's talking about a migrant that was stealing, shoplifting from a shop in the country 3 months, was before the judge, and the judge didn't convict the person. Like, think about that for a second. If you walked out to a shop, and I'm not endorsing or telling people to do this, but if you walked out to a shop and start robbing things, I'm sure that there would be a hefty fine and conviction waiting for you. Like, this is how we're looking upon now. The law and the justice system is a 2-tier and probably even 3-tier situation right now, because politicians don't face any repercussions for what they do. Zero. Absolutely zero. If that were the case, then Leo Varadkar would have been prosecuted by the DPP and various others that are out there for what they did and what they continue to do. So this is another argument as to why there's very emotional and highly strung people that shouldn't be in positions like these, that are engaging in acts like these. And of course, you've got the other boys there with the baseball caps who go around and who are being used also. But to me, why are these people doing this? Like, what are you getting out of it? Your GRA has literally, and I mean literally, voted 99.7% against looking at Drew Harris as your leader. And you think it's applicable and appropriate then to go out and harass people in their areas? Like, why have you not directed any energy to your superiors? And there's more of you than there is of them. Why have you not directed any of your energy towards them to say, this is wrong what we're doing and we're not doing it? Refuse to do it. Stand down when it comes to these things. But instead, you're happy to go out there. I mean, it just brings you back to biblical times, 30 pieces of silver, Judas. It's how you're forever going to be looked at and remembered. Why would anybody have respect or show you any sort of dignity or civility? And I'm not endorsing that anybody does anything of the opposite. But what I'm saying is, you've got people now that are really riled up and angry, and they don't view you as a positive part of the community. They don't view you as something they want around. And you're going to see more videos where you're going to see people being told where to go. And I'm just explaining cause and effect. I'm not endorsing or telling people to do anything here, but I'm just explaining cause and effect with these things. And you're irreparably damaging the profession, and you're irreparably damaging your reputations from here on out. Just how it goes. Citizenship ceremony, Killarney, Ireland. The replacement is happening at lightning speed. Look at this. And that's from a guy called Ahmed. Like, I mean, the memes write themselves when it comes to that one. But there you go. Country is being absolutely overrun. Look at it. The place is jammers it is with people. It's unbelievable what we're dealing with here in this country. It really is. So, Off-Grid Ireland posted this out here. It says Joe Taylor has confirmed that one of his men pulled a knife on a young Irish girl in Clonmel. This British security team needs to get the hell out of Ireland. So we'll play this one because the Shinners, I'm sure, will be very much so on top of this. It'd be great to see if the Shinners turned up and talked about the British in
guy was dismissed this morning. Right.
Getting involved in what is another invasion of Ireland. Any chance of that there, lads? Or are you just armchair Republicans that like to wave flags of other countries and tell people that you're like your soy latte, you know, you like your pheasant, you know, these, like, absolute weirdos, man.
The guy was dismissed this morning. Right. One of my guys You saw one of my guys engage him yesterday and get his arm away with that knife. Okay, so he
Right,
did
well, I
that.
have it on drone footage, you know that?
Okay.
About the incident.
Okay, well, okay. All I'm saying is that he's been dismissed at this moment in time because of GDPR. I can't give you his name. He's been dismissed. He was identified by the guard who was down there last night. As soon as he turned up to work today, and he was dismissed from site, and he was escorted off site by myself.
But so when I go press charges on him, will I get his name then?
If the Garda come, then there will be conversation had. We will disclose that.
So you see what they're doing, because they're breaking us up, they're fucking busting us up, right? And you think that I'm going to leave them off not doing their job?
Do you know what? I'm trying to be right with everybody.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I
know,
right.
And what happened outside that gate?
What happened? One of my guys stepped in to protect the young lady and the young gentleman.
So that's what you have here. And of course, they use this BS. And I mean, your man's well up when it comes to these things. GDPR can't say that been let go, not been arrested, not being slapped with any sort of section or anything like that for what he's done. No. Dismissed and probably sent back on his merry way to wherever he is. Or indeed, probably sent on to another site here in Ireland, allegedly, spectacularly. So this is what we're dealing with here. And people are looking at this and they're saying, no more. And they're right. Because this is unacceptable, 100%. And where are the Gardaí and all this? No. They're too busy, they are, coming up and annoying people that are just locals. No energy for your man there that was doing that. And literally confirmed on video there that the guy had that. And nothing done about it. It's unreal. We've got Keith there. Big shout out to him. He's also on Twitter there. He's Keith ISI on X and on YouTube. So he's also another good account that's reporting about what's going on in his local area. So shout out to him. I thought that'd be an important one to do. The video is about 10 minutes of this, so I won't play the entirety of the video. Do go over to his channel and have a look there. So this comes from Off Grid Ireland and comes from Mick O'Keefe there. So this is Gavin Pepper. So Gavin Pepper straight in and he's recording yet again. Councillor Gavin Pepper. By the way, big shout out to Gavin becoming a councillor. It's great.
Folks, I'm Gavin Pepper. I'm here at all here. Now watch this. Here the little bunny room at tonight, but can it be true? Oh yes, it's true. Tennessee, the rift here, Radiant Park beside the doll. Look at the amount of tents down there. So everybody, is Ireland full? Ireland is full. We'll walk out and around it. Unbelievable. So it's just going on everywhere now. Everywhere. Rows and rows of tents. While there's a concert going on over there in the leafy area, right beside All Ireland. Now we have Tent City down here. I mean, look at the amount of them. Oh, they've a new brand now, Rock and River Adventure. Like, must be a new company getting the contract here now for all the tents. But as you can see, there's loads more. How are we doing, lads? Where are you from?
Jordan.
Well,
Jordan.
Jordan. And where are you from?
Jordan.
Jordan. And what made you come to Ireland? How long are you here?
I'm sorry, I speak a little English. I don't understand.
Well, Ireland's full at the moment.
So I'll just pause it there. Of what use are you to this country if you don't speak the language that is being spoken here, predominantly here in Ireland? Now, I would say, as an aside, I'm going to say this as plainly as possible because this is something that's been spoken about at length online. You have fools of leftists now that are saying to people, well, I changed my name to Irish and I can speak Irish, and these people that are going around are not Gaelgars. Listen, the Irish language was beat out of the Irish people over 800 plus years with the penal laws. So that's a big factor as to why we are in the state that we are in, is because we do not have Irish. There must be an Irish revival. I do think it's very important. And I do think it is something that you should be engaging with your own children, with your own family, as much as possible. This is something that is needed at this moment and is needed in the future. And again, going back to that, when you're talking about a common spoken language being English, this is how these guys can get away with it. I don't have much. Well, what are you doing here? Of what use are you to the whole place then? You know what I mean?
Like, there's no room. We can't house the Irish people. So I'm saying, what made you come to Ireland?
I come to Ireland to IPO.
The International Protection Office.
Wait.
Have you got family? Have you got family? Have you got family?
No, I'm saying.
Why, what's wrong? But you're wearing the best of clothes. Yeah, you're saying that you're coming from poor, but you're wearing the best of clothes. The best of gear they're wearing. Armani tops and whatnot. It's unbelievable. Right down the whole lot of it. Ireland is full. They don't want to be recorded. No, it's not live. It's not live. It's not live. It's all the way right down the whole road. On and on. They're worried about any live and all. Because the gang of them down there. And this is madness. Right at the Dáil. Right across from the Dáil. Loads of them. And as you can see, everybody seem to hide their faces and cover it up. But they're not dressed in poor clothes. You know, they don't look like they're fleeing anything. They're coming from Jordan. There's no war in Jordan. What do you think is the goal?
Well, I actually think now they're bringing it to the government. The fact that the NGOs probably said, right, to keep moving us off the canals now. So now we go to the Dáil. And I think this is what it's about.
Yeah, see, look at the watch he's wearing. So that's what it is. The NGOs now are going to bring them here to the Dáil once again to push for them to get accommodation. See, it's all part of a racket, but they're arriving every day. Now, imagine if Irish homeless people turned up at the Dáil, the people that are in emergency accommodation, and put tents all outside the Dáil. Would the government give them proper accommodation? No, they wouldn't. They don't care. Don't care about the people outside of the M50 or at the back of Cable Street and all that. But they're pulling out all the stops for these illegal male migrants that are unvetted, that are coming across the borders to get into Ireland. And nobody wants to talk about it. This is the biggest corrupt scam that's ever gone on in the history of our state. We're full, we've no room, we don't have the services, and this just keeps happening every day. And no politician wants to talk about it. And you think, it's one trick after another with the government that it'll go away. It's not going to go away. The Irish people should not have to live with this. This is ridiculous. It's time to shut the borders. Send them home. The Irish people have had enough of this. What are you going to do? Open up another centre. Send them somewhere else. This is every day. Whether it'll be up at the canals. And watch, they'll be moved from here. And so the NGOs will jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, Gavin, have a heart. No, I have a heart for my own people. I have a heart for the people that are up in the hospital now waiting to see a doctor. Elderly people on trolleys and all. Where's the funding for that? Where's the funding for the working class communities, the summer camps, the kids got in dancing clubs and boxing clubs? We're spending it on this, and who's making the money from it? Where's the NGO money going? These tent companies, they're making money. Because when this is moved, them tents are destroyed, then new tents are given out. This is going on and on and on. It's a vicious circle going round and round. It's time to close the borders and send them home and start looking after our own people. Ireland's full.
And very well said. Everything I agree with him there. You know, there's nothing that I can disagree with there at all. And this is where the likes of that money being stolen from you through the government with this media license goes towards. This is what they do. They're just redistributing it. Where do you think all the money has come from and is being given to when it comes to this deposit return scheme? Another stupid thing that the Greens have devised up. But another thing that they're actually boasting about, saying there's actually over €1 million worth there that hasn't been claimed by the people. So that just means that money that you forked out to get a can or a bottle is now actually costing you money, and you being too lazy to go and bring it back is giving them money to do things like this. So big shout out to Gavin Pepper there, Councillor Gavin Pepper. Great to see him there on the move and on the way. You know, he's doing great work. He is already. He's stalwart stuff. You know what I mean? I love to see it. €230,000 given to Irish political parties to elect people of diversity. So again, it all comes down to money. Fine Gael, 39,402. Fianna Fáil, 39,070. Green Party, 36,250. Labour Party, 31,600. Social Democrats, 32,100. Sinn Féin, 20,000. So Sinn Féin, you're just crawling in behind these again. Solidarity PBP, 8,300. Not very diverse over there, are they? Considering what they did spouting out of them. Independents, 7,000. A2, 11,250. And Reform Alliance there, 5,400. Now, who is diverse when it comes to these things? What does that mean? That was another good question that was posed by Gript. The base, Paulie Walnuts. My reaction when the Doubtfire raises his voice at me, you've got some balls, my friend. Lord of the Rings meme over here. I love to see it. Government, law enforcement. So that's the Nazgul ring rates. Military, you've got the orcs. And then you've got these guys here. What we're being labelled as the Fellowship. We are the Fellowship, we are. So I love to see that, the Fellowship of the Ring. You've got Sheikh Umar, born in Pakistan, born in the Netherlands. Lying is strictly forbidden. So another guy that was caught out regularly on Twitter. And again, that story about him being, being a bit roughed up, it seems to have gone away big time. They don't seem to have caught anyone with regards to that. There, interesting stuff there. A lot of people don't believe him with the story. Calling Pinocchio online, allegedly, respectfully. Abolish direct provision campaign says 9,000 refugees in direct provision centres registered to vote in the local elections. Another 3,000 of our members living outside of direct provision centres with GNIB cards can also vote in EU elections. We expected a big fall of the Green Party, 49 seats. Refugee votes matter. I mean, they're tweeting it out, guys. They're tweeting it out. This is the HSE. The HSE, of course, is telling you that they have pride. This is an organisation that can tell you, well, can't really tell you over the last couple of years what a woman is. Failing to do that. And I don't know whether people have an awful lot of faith in them anymore. I think it's interesting with the graphic that they have here. This is actually a recent graphic. And you can see here, that's not to be construed as a face nappy as far as I'm concerned. It's supposed to be a beard, probably, is what they're trying to do. But I think they're subtly trying to throw in there. We don't know what this is. Look at the other images, by the way. This is something that you get to see with these media outlets. And this is a bit of a deep dive when it comes to these things. Do they have groups involved and they get the ability to create these images? And they go for these kind of very simplistic images they are. Now, the contracts that's given out, the people that do these things are massive. And look at how dull and uninspiring they are. But what is the thing that you notice about this image? And these are the four things that I notice. Brown female doctor. You don't know what that is. I'm gathering from the slim neck and the weird haircut that's supposed to be one of these here. Black female, cornrows. Do you call them cornrows or whatever they're called? What do you call them? I don't know. Then you've got this other here, another pencil-necked lefty with a darker shade and the blue hair. And then you've got one white guy. So, allegedly white guy, so who knows with regards to this thing. So I'm just going to point that out again. Out of this image here of 5 people, 4 out of the 5 are presenting with this colour coding that is not native Irish here. What do you think about that? That's the first thing I thought when I saw this here. And they do these simplistic things. This is actually, I think this has been talked about beforehand, that it's a deep form of psychological impressioning, I think might be the word, or maybe even suggestion. And also then, as you can see here in the background, I was going to say there, because you can see the black colour there. You see the new flag that they're devising here. It's all coloured in different ways here, and they're trying to go, oh yeah, look at how cool this is. They're starting to add more to it. The ring there says an awful lot to me. It does. That says an awful lot, guys. So you've got, of course, old woman, bald owl flip, another owl flip, an owl one there that's dyeing her hair. I mean, you're long past the ability to look natural with that there, me old pal. And along with this one as well. And of course, then you've got this guy here. So this tops it off then. So the HSC are promoting this. And makes sense, of course, because when you know it's a captured institution. This is the modern day pirate flag, by the way. This is just very similar to what you used to see with the Jolly Roger. This is just it. It's just letting you know and signifying to everybody, hey, look, we're under the control. Like Sauron and the Lord of the Rings, controlling them. The white hand of Saruman. This is all you're seeing here. It's just a symbol to show you where they're really at. What else have we got here? Now, this is the Irish Times. The Irish Times put this out. And I thought this was pretty interesting. And it gives you a little look into how these media outlets are thinking and how they collude with the government and how they're hand in glove with this. New Garda body-worn cameras expected to lead to more prosecutions. Now, I thought that was where it was going to end, and then it went up far right. Many agitators have engaged in threatening behaviour almost impossible to police during chaotic public disorder incidents. Don't mind the border being overrun. Don't mind people getting off aircrafts and boats without passports. Don't mind that at all. Don't mind people getting off these things and actually destroying their documents before they come in here. Don't mind that at all. What are they interested in? The mythical far right. This is where we're at. And these people, happy to do it. I mean, look, I can insult this woman about her weight all day long. I can. And, you know, she looks like, do you ever see the movie The Grinch? And you've got the Who's from Whoville. She looks real weird looking, doesn't she, in the face? She looks like a Whoville that's out there eating too many sweets at Christmas. That's what you've got here. You've had a couple of the Crimbo dinners there, Olivia. You know, you've got this forming into this here, which is always the sign of a very overweight person. And then you've got these arms here, these pudgy arms. Now, this is a thing, and it's a point that's actually been brought up in various different circles and different spaces that I've been listening to recently. And I'd love to hear it. It's just like people are looking and they're going, fat politicians and people that are fat in these different positions that they're holding, like of power, like greedy individuals that are literally showing you how greedy they are, and you're supposed to believe that they're not greedy or that they're not susceptible to temptation. And that's how I look at a person like this. I'm like, you're susceptible to a couple of Kinder Buenos there in the evening, aren't you, Olivia? Very susceptible to that there. Now, this is a person that people confronted down on the Grand Canal because this was a woman that was trying to stop people from video in public place where it's absolutely legal to do so. And even if it was made illegal, I actually don't think people would heed that either, because you know that's the next step that they're going to try and take. They're going to try and stop people from recording themselves, but then that opens a whole can of worms, because CCTV then surely would be outlawed, wouldn't it not? Because he was consenting to that. But of course, the governments will have their roundabout way of doing things and say, well, everyone is consenting to it due to them being locked into this, that, or the other. You know, the spoof that they go with. So anyway, you've got Cindy Lou Pigville here instead of Whoville. We've got Olivia Heaton, the volunteer who has been all over Irish media all week and introduced as volunteer in the migrant camp only. Don't forget to introduce Olivia as working in communications for UN migration. All the links are starting to become very clear for people. So again, you've got this person who has a high ranking job with these people over here and is involved in this sort of stuff. This person, as far as I'm concerned, should be arrested immediately. You should not be down there. If you're a Gardaí in here listening, if you're a glowy uniform, whatever it might be in here listening, you shouldn't be hanging around listening to people on the far right, and as you deem them to be on the far right, and monitoring them and looking at their tweets and then writing about them in newspapers. You should be documenting and arresting people like this, because this is a person that is up to no good as far as I'm concerned, and is someone that is eroding the constitution here in this country, and is eroding our freedoms, rights, civil liberties, and is causing what can be inflammatory situations, and indeed is increasing tensions, and is also then, in my view, people like this directly responsible for when crime happens. Of any of people that are here, directly responsible as far as I'm concerned. Because guess what? They'd make me or Stergal Soldier or anybody else out there responsible if someone else on our side did something, someone else who claims to be on our side. So you need to push it back to these people and say, you're responsible for that. Every single time something goes wrong, you're responsible for that, along with the government. We have this up here then as well. I'm going to go through a couple of days. Having babies is selfish because of overpopulation. Europe needs migrants because falling birth rates. This is the constant thing that we have here, and the button to be switched. Let's move on. There's another image there from Cromwell. You've got this guy here masked up, or girl, who knows nowadays. And there they are with a camcorder recording people that are there. For what reason? Why is that person permitted to do that? And why is no member of the Gardaí ceasing that? You've got this guy here. This is another Abdul that you've got running around there, facing off against the local people. Not sure about this. You've got the goon squad that are in here. Someone said to me recently, who was it that I was looking at? Oh, it was Daredevil, the Marvel Comics character. The Marvel Comics character was in talking to another character recently, and he was talking about goons and henchmen. And he was questioned, what's a goon and what's a henchman? And they were like, Daredevil says, a goon is someone who is hired to do a job, but they don't really believe in it. But a henchman is someone who does the job, but also believes in it. So you've got a number of people here that are involved in this because they'll say, oh, it's my job, I was told to do that. It didn't really work out in previous times, did it? When that push came to shove. So you've got all of these people here that are facing off against the locals in their areas. And then you've got people here that are not of this country doing the very same. It's absurd stuff. That sums Ireland up now today in 2024. It really does. United Nations Prevention and the Responsibility to Protect Councillor-elect for Ballymun Finglas Gavin Pepper is to ask Dublin City Council about a legal case against the widespread foreign interference in the local elections under the United Nations Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of this year. Such actions could be considered this if they are found to have disrupted the social economic, or political survival of a native group by altering the demographic balance, especially if these actions lead to the group's marginalization or destruction, and if the purpose of moving populations is to weaken or destroy the group's ability to sustain itself or its cultural identity. Gavin Pepper has hit the ground running. This is awesome. This is great to see. And highlighting these type of things and talking about it in this sort of way is very important. You know, I'll often say it, and I say it without a problem. You know, you watch TV shows, I watch TV shows like Yellowstone, and I see, for example, the Native Americans and how they're portrayed in the show. And, you know, the guys that are there, the Duttons, for example, will not understand these Native. Like, what's their problem? They're the Native Americans. They were kicked off their own lands, and they have been removed from them for a very long time. And then someone else moved and said, yeah, no, we're the first guys. No, you weren't. And that's why America has an identity crisis. And that's why you hear so many people from America that would say, I'm 1/15th Roman Catholic from Sicily or something like that. And I mean, it's a logical thing to say, I suppose. You know, and they'll say, I'm Irish. Like, you've got Joe Biden that's running around that's like, I'm Irish. I don't think he knows what day of the week it is at all, you know. And he's running around still and he's saying he's Irish, you know. So that demographic and that whole idea and ideology in America hasn't worked. People still identify with what they are originally and where they come from and what they're descended from. They will say, of course, they will say, I'm American, but someone will say, I'm Irish or Irish Italian or Italian Irish, whatever it might be, whatever makeup they have. But I think it's super important, drawing back to what Gavin is doing here. I think it's very important that he does this. I think this needs to be highlighted. This needs to be amplified as well, as what I would say. This is hugely important that this gets amplified as much as possible. Mass immigration was planned. So you've got this guy, his protege, Simon Coveney, so Peter Sutherland, attend the infamous and highly secretive Certain Group Summit. The EU should do its best to undermine the homogeneity of its member states. So former Attorney General of Ireland, former EU Commissioner, former UN Special Representative for Migration, former head of Global Forum on Migration and Development. People were never consulted. I'd also say as well, the likes of Mary Robinson, who's still making a move around. She's like talking about the climate, and you're just looking here like spoof, absolute spoof, but still out there talking, out there yapping. And I saw an article tonight, and I was like, the Green Party put it up, and they were giving her some sort of applause, and I was like, is this going to be a Good Friday? Is this going to be a happy day? And then I was like quickly disappointed because I was like, oh no, they're just giving her a thanks and fair play to her. And I was like, you know. So anyway, we move on here. Michael O'Keefe says, breaking wads are being put up around the site in Clonmel as foreign security guards taunt the locals. What was once a field is now a walled off camp that will house foreign men. Ireland is under attack for sure. This is what people are facing off against. This isn't normal. This isn't normal. And we've read about it many times throughout history and have indeed been involved in our history. We've got this here, which is a nice little map there. It shows you the population of Africa, which is 1.4 billion. The population of Ireland is 5 million. So look, this is how the size of Ireland is relative to Africa. So there you go. Why is everybody from there coming here? You know, make you wonder. So this is what you have here. You've got I feel sick, folks. Just went to vote about 10 a.m. and outside the polling station, a group of single male asylum seekers directing others in to vote with the help of an Irish minder. I even asked this guy if he knew about Ireland. Could he name any signatories of the proclamation? And he hadn't a clue. Just wanted to find his boots. Gerrymandering of the highest order. If people don't vote, they only have themselves to blame. I agree with that one. But also, what people like this are being used for is to essentially cancel out your vote. So that's what we saw, I think, last week. We saw people that would have voted, and I think there was a very strong vote for nationalists and patriots. There was, but what ended up happening was this: your vote was not only cancelled out then, but it was also added to them by others. So, as far as I'm concerned, that was an unfair election. You know, and more people that ask about that and question that, the better. So here goes order. Okay. This guy, I have a video coming out, and the video I'm after doing, it might be a spoiler. I was hoping to post it out without saying anything. But anyway, he has upset the media, and it's great to see, is what I'll say. And what we need to do on this side of the fence, this is what the media are looking to do is here. They're trying to other people. They're trying to make people outliers. They're trying to make you into some sort of pariah or whatever it might be, or a leper, as you want to call it, maybe. This is what they're trying to do. Don't take any heed of it whatsoever. Support the guys and keep on side. And this is the thing. everyone that was on this side of the fence when we saw this article, we all laughed at him. We were like, "That's hilarious." You know, to me, it just sounds like Marvel Comics, The Punisher, as far as I'm concerned. What you did with this article was you just made him sound cool. That's all you did. So that's all you did for me, and I think fair play to you, Satirical Soldier. You're doing great work. You're in these people's heads, and the fact that they're name checking you now is a good thing. It's only going to bring more people's attention to your channel, which I think is absolutely deserved. So you've got this. Look at this. You know what I mean? Like, that says it all, doesn't it? Says it all. Says it all. Don't even have to go on that further. Sinn Féin to meet after huge disappointment at Irish elections. That's what happens when you betray your base. BBC reporter. Enoch Burke loses defamation action over Sunday Independent article. Disgraceful what's happened to this man, as I said there. And then today, they're saying he was offered the chance to be let out for the holidays, and he said no. So the longer that this rumbles on, the worse it gets. Micheál Martin was caught by the Burke family tonight now as well. That was another great video. He was hiding in a souvenir shop, according to people that were on the ground. Hilarious stuff. So the Burkes, fair play to them. The family of principles, absolutely awesome. Catholic Church cancels incompatible concert by Dublin Gay Men's Choir. Based. The Catholic Church is starting to crawl back now at this stage of the game. Hopefully it's not too late. So that was the video that I put out on the 7th of June. So we're at the end. We're at the end of the stream here. I thought I'd keep it a bit quicker than previous streams that I've done to get as much information out as possible, to try and curate the amount of stuff that we could do over this course of time, because I know at a certain amount of time that it does drag on, and I know people have things to do, and I appreciate everyone being here tonight. I appreciate the fact as well that you've got people that have watched in here tonight and they might have been busy. It's a Friday night, even that. And also, by the way, I really appreciate people that watch the replays of this, because that again helps the channel and it helps people to get the word out with what's going on. I'm going to be doing more videos in the upcoming weeks, and I'm going to say, I probably should have said it from the outset, I'll probably put out a post or maybe even a video or something like that. But I'm absolutely, and I will say this, I love doing what I'm doing. I love doing this. But I'm going to take a couple of weeks off, because now we're starting to enter into the summer period, and that's when things start to sort of simmer down with the government and that. And I'm going to take a couple of weeks off from streaming, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to replace that with videos during the weeks. And Stickers out and messaging me there, great shout, boy. Thanks for that. I appreciate that, and everyone that's in the chat as well too. Obviously, doing about 15 things here at once here, you know. But I'm going to take a couple of weeks off. I'm planning on being back on the 12th of July. So I know that's a bit of a stretch out for people, and people are like, yikes. But I think after the election campaign and the conversations and the videos that I was putting in like a lot of hours and up till very late nights to get that stuff out there. So I'm just going to take a couple of weeks off, rest, recoup, bring the energy levels back. And that's the plan for the moment, guys. And I really appreciate people that are out here supporting the channel. I really appreciate the people that are liking, sharing, subscribing, all of the above here. We've got the 2 hours here tonight. I'm going to run through the chat here really quickly. But I will be posting out more videos over the next coming weeks, because I've been finding they do good numbers. And whilst the streams are important, I think I am just going to take a little break for a little bit. I will be back, don't worry. So I just wanted to do this stream to kind of get this one going, and then I'll be back then, as I said, in mid-July. Well, not even mid-July. Well, it's pause. You could say it's mid-July, couldn't you? So I'll be back then, and I'm looking forward to it again. Like, I've really, really missed doing the streams here and talking to people, just myself. But I've loved also, and I have to say, I've loved doing what we're doing, which is the casual conversations, and I'll be doing more of those going forward. So I'm hoping to get more people on and speak to them, especially with the run up to the general election, and that will 100% be happening at some stage of the game. So we've got Johanna Thornfeld that's in here. Says, good morning, Ninja, and all. Good to see you here. Thanks very much for being here. Do you know what I wish these would do here on StreamYard? We'll be able to highlight when you have like at Ninja Nights, so I could go through quicker, because I know I appreciate people going down and writing stuff, but it takes me so long then to scroll through it and try and catch it, and I'm hoping to catch everything. TradeTheWave.com says, hello everyone from NY. We've got Liz Pepper that says, who was voting for these gowns? For sure. Sure, Hazel Chill was doing a talk about the climate agenda that she's doing. And this was actually on News Talk, as far as I know. That's how bad her English was. She was like, a climate agenda that we are pushing. And I was like, is this Matt or Trey Parker that's from South Park doing this voice? Like, are they taking the mick? Is this the Kim Jong-un? And people were like, no, Ninja, that's actually Hazel Chill talking. Surprised. Chris Bourne says, called them police, Ninja. They ceased to be Gardaí years ago. Good point. People in the chat saying don't give the traitors Irish names. Sheepdog's in here, says, good evening, Ninja Night and chat. Tonight's stream has gone swimmingly, by the way. There was no Burger King Wi-Fi tonight, which I'm happy to say. Well, hopefully it was. Better luck. People probably message me after and like, no, you cut out for about 50 minutes there in the interview, cut the last 20. It's always the way. You get it with this Gonzo production. Let's keep going here now and see what's going on. Triumph of Peru says Bohemian FC, who had Akanade on their roster, was up for. Yeah. If you haven't had a look into Izzy Akanade, have a look at that there. You know. Oh, stop. Ed Breeden says Philip got my number one. Yeah, a lot of people messaged me to say Philip got their number one. A lot of people messaged to say Diarmaid's got their number one as well. Like, a lot of people reached out and I really appreciated that. And the Lion Jones says Ninja Knight merging parties carries a risk of diluting principles. The merged party would risk becoming weak like N2. Hear the point, and I'm sure it's up for discussion for sure. I don't think it's as easy. I don't know if it's as easy as that, but you know, the one thing, and as I said there, I will say is the left are 100% united on all these things, and I suppose that's what's going on for us as well, is that people are critical thinkers and they do think differently and not sheeple, is what I would say. So I do believe that that's part and parcel of why you do see splits or divisions or whatever it might be. But to me, I think we're on good terms now at this stage of the game. I think people understand what needs to be done. Peg Sayer says Ninja Knight retents is propaganda. Lots of tents on streets looks really bad, so people then happy to have to move to different parts of the country will eventually convince the people to vote. There's a lot of stuff at work here. There's a lot of psychological operations that are going on here, you know. And it's a case of, well, if it's not in my area, I'm not worried about it. But it'll come to your area soon enough when these people are given the chance, you know. Sheepdog says, when you have the lefties having the meltdown over an Irishman flying an Irish flag, you know you're winning Ninja Knight. For sure. Absolutely for sure. Very upset they are about people waving the Irish flag. You've had them as well, you know, gone mental over the last week or so, going, oh my God, guys, it's great to see people there in the run. Who gives a shit about athletics? Like, people are giving you the ideology, oh, you should go and the thing is, we've got the athletics now, so you should be open to the borders being opened because there's a person that is running in a race there and happens to get a silver in that race, and we should keep the borders open. Like, you are demented. You are absolutely demented. You are not a serious person to be listened to. But we have whatever it is. Listen, Nigerian. That's what she is. Parents are from Nigeria. She's Nigerian. And then you've seen the video. If anyone hasn't seen it, did anyone see the video there? The national anthem being played between Razicat, whatever it is. Ratata. That's like the Pokemon thing. Ratata. And you have then another woman then. And the Irish girl is actually crying with joy. Ratata is not even phased. Just, it looks annoyed to be standing on the plinth or the platform, whatever it might be. And of course, you'll have lots of people make excuses for her and say, oh, well, you know, she's just holding her in her own way. Listen, I'd always be critical as well, too, of the footballers that are there, always have been, that didn't sing the national anthem before football games. Always felt that way. Peg Sarah says, Ninja Knight EU, selected, not elected, forced me in, causes a bit of trouble in Dalton, next Wallace and Claire Daly, and now Michael McNamara. Makes you think. It does make you think. Absolutely does make you think. These people hardly want people in there that are going to be trouble starters. You know what I mean? The people that are going there from Dublin are a dream to these. Regina Doherty, Lynn Boylan, and who else is the other one? Aidan or Reardon. Dream for these people. Dream. Because they just fall in line. That's it. No rabble rousing. No people talking about what's going on. No people telling the truth there. Just how we getting on. Yeah, happy to be here, doing my part in messing out the country and selling the country out. And I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Mad Paddy makes a comment there. I'd rather listen, they're all on the same team there, is what I'd say. They're moving those guys in here on the back of what we're accepting and supporting in the Middle East, is what I'd say. Take nobody in the Middle East, is what I'm saying. No one. And have no one from there dictating what we do. Have a look into Alan Shatter. That's all I'll say to you about that one. Let's keep going. Let's keep going through the chat there. So Triumph of Peru 1014. We spoke about that earlier on. Fine Gael ought to remove the word Gael from their name. They are now the PG party based upon the demographic they see to appeal to. Shane Gann says, keep it up, Ninja. Thanks very much. Finola Muraku is in here as well too. Sends out membership as well too. Thanks so much. Pamsy Doodles in here as well too, says hello. Armchair Limerick Nationalist says sound for the stream, Ninja. Enjoy your break. Well deserved, Ninja Night. I super appreciative of that there. We'll keep going along the chat and make sure that we get up to date with it. Let's keep going. Yeah, people are talking about the TV license as well too, that they're not paying it, but this is the thing, they're going to try and get around it by doing what they're doing, which is to try and make it a tax. This is the answer to everything that these individuals do. All that they do is, can we tax it, and how much can we tax it for until you say enough about that? No is the answer. No is the answer, and people should not be taking this lying down. It's absurd, but it's the absurd amount of stuff that people are taking. It's like the inheritance tax, it's like all property tax, like that. These are all things that weren't in existence years ago, and then they were drafted in now, and people are paying ridiculous amounts of money for the gaffs that they're buying. And now we have a situation where you've got people that are paying even further on shit that they don't want, shit that they don't need. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about the likes of TV licenses. I'm talking about James Bond says you can put lipstick on a pig, but it'll still end up with spuds and cabbage. So going back to what I was saying there, you still have your individuals here in government that are happy to push these things upon you and hit you up then with more taxes to take more money away from you. Like, this is it. It's all about diluting your finances and making sure you have nothing to be able to do anything with. Just slowly but surely, it's incremental, and that's the most disgusting thing about it as well too. It's constantly incremental. I saw a video there last week or the week before, and I'd seen it beforehand, but it's just something that I like to put up and constantly talk about. Kieran Martin says, getting better, Ninja. Thanks very much appreciated on that one. Maybe you mean about me being on time. So, or maybe it was the Jamaican accent. Jamaican Hindu says, Saladin. Thanks for that. Stop the Jamaican accent. You might turn Robert Maguire. That's actually Robert Maguire. That's actually considered very naughty on Twitter if you write that. It's an Ali G phrase, is what I'll say. Liam Bracken says, someone like Conor McGregor, who has a huge following, should endorse the Nationalist Party to let the people know these parties are out there. Most people I speak to are unaware. Game changer. Yeah, I will say this, Troy. I think the timing of when the fight has been a bad time for us. I think it's been a distraction. I also do think that whatever's going on behind the scenes, and whether McGregor's injured, whether he's out of fight, whatever it might be, I think that the Irish government were afraid of that press conference going ahead. To me, it doesn't make that much sense to pull out, what is it now, a month away? Doesn't make sense to, maybe it's less than a month now. It doesn't make sense to pull out and then not have the press conference. I think the Irish government, personally myself, I think they were afraid of what he would say. And I think something happened there. And I think they were afraid. I will also say that I do think that he should be endorsing candidates. I do think that he should be supporting candidates and doing so openly. Saladin says, Ninja and I are so alike. Lol, body language tells us so much. 100% does. And I mean, the way the Healy Ray fella's sitting tells you an awful lot now. People laughing in the chat, they like the idea. Sean Delap says, we need to remove the idea of constituencies and just be allowed to vote for a nationalist candidate that would bring the most benefit to this country, regardless of what area they run in. Definitely need to have people either running in multiple areas or running in different areas. And I think that could be effective. That could be another game changer. Because I think people will find that that's something that they would like to go for. I mean, I don't look at a ballot and go, I'll vote for the guy that I've got nothing in common with from across miles away. Never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Like my ballot for, I said it to you before I started the stream, my ballot for the likes of the county council stuff and all that, I think was 1 to 7, and the Euros I think was 1 and 2, and that was it. Peg Sarah says, Ninja, don't forget that Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand gave exemptions to politicians and other. I've said from the beginning that politicians were on. Yeah, for sure. Politicians didn't take any of this sort of stuff now. And that's why I pose questions like that and throw those out. Like, you don't see any of these serious politicians having any sort of issues. You know, you just see people that are average heads having issues. Fergus Powers is in here, says, Ninja, good night, and God bless you all, brothers and sisters. The fight has only just begun. Stand strong, stand together, and never take a backwards step. Our land, our destiny, our era, God bless. Absolute legends. Keep up the good work, man. What a, like, great mindset. You know what I mean? Love to see it, I do. Base Ferg Power in here tonight. And I'm sure, no doubt, will be a councillor or a TD in the future to come. Like, no doubt in my mind, that's going to be a guy that's going to run again and is going to be very successful. Let's keep going here now. A lot of people responding to what I was saying here in the chat. Chat's buzzing here today again. The last chat that I had there with John Waters was at like savage amount of numbers in the chat. I was like, I can't get through all this because I was very aware that John was busy the next day, and I'm like, if I start this talking to the chat stuff, I'll be here all night, you know. But John appreciated people being in here, and again, I always appreciate people being in here. Let's keep flying through here now and see what's going on. Great stuff in the chat tonight here. We're absolutely flying. I'd say we're after over 1,000 messages here again tonight, which is a very good number. So I'm really caught up there, and I'm about 30 minutes behind. So I should be nearly there. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, we're nearly there. We're nearly there. Let's keep going here. Kamir says, Kamar, I says, see the boys outside Hardest House this evening. Simon or Drew? I wonder if that was going on. What's going on here? People might keep me up to date on that. It's great. It's great to see so many people passionate about what's going on. No one's flower far right agitator laughing about this stuff about Mike. Dr. Ann McCluskey as well too. I'm not seeing someone in the chat there. Thanks for reminding me about that. She's free, is she? I'm glad to hear that. They put that woman in jail for not paying a fine due to the sniffles. Like, savage. It's unbelievable. Slap Happy says, I don't do Twitter, FaceFeck, or the rest. Ninja, so you're my informer. Thanks very much. That's why I keep doing these things, you know, so I appreciate people in here. Ninja Holiday, people are saying. Ninja, and thank you, Suzanne Bork. Thanks very much. God bless you, Ninja Night. Enjoy your break. Thanks a mil. Big day, the 12th of July, says Brian Mack. Slap Happy says, good man, Ninja. Green Fez says, Ninja's out to Croatia for 2 weeks. Wish. No chance. CK Media Training says, thank you, Ninja. Great show. Much appreciated. Enjoy your weeks off. We appreciate it. And to you do. This is Paul Burke. Thanks very much. Ninja Night. Back in time for marches. You know. Air Force says, have a great weekend all. And thank you, Ninja. Have a good week. It's been very busy. Yeah, it's been super busy. And then the amount of spaces. See, that's the other thing as well. Like, I'm not only doing YouTube, but I'm doing spaces. And the lads will always invite me in. And I'm like, 100%. I'll be in there, you know. If I'm asked, I'll be in there. So that's over on Twitter. And sometimes they're 2 hour long spaces. And I love doing them, you know. So I just can't help myself. So I'll try and help myself over the next couple of weeks and be like, take a bit off. Leanne Cord says, you've done this a lot, Ninja Night. Thanks. Mind yourself, be in touch soon, pal. Absolutely. Hope everything's well with you there. Leanne. Dearmid O'Sullivan says, nice one, Ninja. Enjoy your break. You'll be missing Ninja Night, says Donald Dweller. Thanks very much. Keith Bourne says, great as always, Ninja, my man. Dave O'Connor says, Ninja Night is always right. Let's keep going. Give Ninja Night a like here, says Dave O'Connor. Thanks very much. Iha Watman, Ninja Night, August Gok dinner. See what's saying, much love from Dublin. God bless you all, says Leanne Cordis. He's bright, he's right, and he don't talk shy. Hoo, Ninja Night, sing along. I like that idea with that Air Force there. I did that one, yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Talk a little bit, you know, but oh, that's a brilliant comment. I love it. Eddie Walsh. I wish do you know what? Sometimes, every now and again, I see a comment and I'm like, I wish I thought of that in the time. And he says, does this Kerry man squat when he pisses? You've won the chat here tonight, Eddie. That's the best thing I've seen. No disrespect to anybody else, but that's a quality observation. Do you know what? Such a good observation. Such a good observation. Sheepdog says, I just tried to share Garage stream, but he's now live. Ninja Night. You'll get the not allowed. I know the crack. No, other streams are fine. I don't know what the story is with that though. I don't know what the story should be out to share with the ones in here. But anyway, he's starting over there, so I'm sure people will be jumping over and having a look and see what he's saying over there. So Garou does great work there, you know. So keep up the great work is what I'd say. 20 shows though, unbelievable. Great to see so much support here tonight as well. And thanks to everybody that's listening in. To just me tonight, I know it might be a bit of a difference, or if you've been here before and you've been hearing the casual conversations, it's again a bit different for you, I suppose. So thanks for being here. Trying for Peru 101 Forces, Christ is King. Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely, 100%. Christ is King. And Mr. KF Never Give Up says, thanks, Ninja, for all you do. All the best, everyone. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. Let's keep going. And I think we're there. Yeah, we're there. Keep it real, people are saying. Jelly Belly says. Okay, guys, listen, thanks very much for being in here tonight. Really appreciate it. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. I'll be dropping videos in between now and then, so keep an eye out on the channel. Make sure you like and share and subscribing. Super appreciate it, and I'll talk to you later, alright? Look,